Salutations and welcome everyone to this very special Trust the Profits live stream. I'm your host tonight, Matthew DeSantis. I'm joined by Keith each and every stride. You see him at the cocktail lounge. You see him on the leaderboard at Stableduel. And we are here because it is kind of an unofficial national holiday, Keith. It is opening night at Assiniboia. And the question is, which nation? Is it Canada? Is it the United States? I think it's a holiday in both countries. But we are excited to be coming to you with a live stream for Assiniboia Downs opening night, Monday night. Races start in 30 minutes, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. We also have a big Stableduel contest coming up. Free ride. So if you've never had a chance to play Stableduel, this is a great opportunity to get in the game, learn what it's all about, do it at a really fun track that I think is actually a little bit easy to handicap at times and to get some beginner's confidence going there. There's also a $25 game. If you feel really good about this one, hey, go for it. If you've been capping this card for a while, then put your money where your mouth is, get in the big dollar game. A lot of fun. We're going to have Bree Mott from Stableduel coming on a little bit later. We're going to have some other people coming on this live stream as well for opening night at Assiniboia. But Keith and I are going to take you all the way through. We're going to stay with you race 1 through 7. The good people at Assiniboia have even let us show the races on our feed with the call. That's always the best part, is Kurt giving the call of Big Tony, coming down the stretch.
Tony in the house.
I love it. I love it. So we're so excited here. It's going to be great. Keith, how are you doing? And what's your excitement level with opening night at Assiniboia?
Oh, well, that was a great intro right there, Matthew. And it's definitely way high. It's like, just feels like no exaggeration, like a, holiday evening here. And just, it's we're looking for, good news right now in horse racing. And this is, the opening night of Assiniboia. You hit the nail on the head. It just, Stableduel. And even for new players, this is a great opportunity. We're going to, Matthew is been on top of the leaderboard and really just kind of the pro of it. But we're both going to talk to you about, the points and how everybody places and who gets positive and negative points. And you really want to find value. And, tonight's card, I found some interesting horses that I'm going to touch on a little bit later.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. You gotta find value in Stableduel. That's one of the things I always say. Stableduel is a handicapping game. It's more a handicapping game, I think, than just a straight up betting game, because it's about, can you find value? Can you find value on the morning line? We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, but we got a lot of the comment sections blowing up. Todd's super excited. He's got big freaks with the long layoffs. Can't wait. Going 5 furlongs, baby. It's all 5 furlongs. So just to let people know, opening night at Assiniboia, 7 overall races. 6 of them are going 5 furlongs. Why even bother with an extra furlong? The hell with it. We're going 5 furlongs. There is one race that's going 7 furlongs, and at Assiniboia, that's 2 turns, just like Chucktown. So that's something to keep in mind. They don't go 2 turns very often at Assiniboia, so something to keep in mind as we get ready there. But listen, we got a lot of folks excited in the chat, very excited here in Opava. Always appreciate you being there.
Welcome.
And it's always great to have you in the house. And listen, Cindy's up there as well. She's actually up in near Assiniboia. Very nice night there. A little smoky though, according to her, but very nice night. So we'll have to keep an eye on conditions there. But this is a big one. We got a lot of folks checking in right at the wire. How you guys doing? Good to see you guys. We got Jake from Thrilling Picks. I know, Jake, what's going on, brother? Good to see you here. This is always exciting. And this is, like I said, going to be a big night. So we're excited about this. We got my boy Lon Garfield here in the chat. Lon, good to see you as well.
Oh, everybody's joining now.
And absolutely. Now we got Tim in the chat as well. So the chat's hopping and popping off here early at Assiniboia. And listen, this is going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, we got 25 minutes to post. 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and we got that big Stableduel game starting at 8:30 as well. Remember, if you played Stableduel before, you know this, but if you're a first timer, the game locks as soon as the first race goes off. So you got to get all your contest bets in and your plays in and your stable in before that first race goes off. So you got another 25 minutes to build your stable. We got over 200 people entered in the free contest.
Wow, that's
30
amazing.
people entered in the $25 contest. So listen, if you've never played it, make sure to check out Stableduel. Just download it. It's a free app. Download it on your Apple or Android device. Sign up, takes 2 seconds. You don't have to enter any credit card information. You don't have to deposit any money. You certainly can't want to play some of those games, but to play the free game tonight, you don't need to deposit any money.
Good point.
Listen, if a bunch of slightly inebriated college kids at a steeplechase event can download this app in the middle of nowhere and sign up, you guys can do it out there listening right now too. Because I was out there in the middle of nowhere with Bree, hooking some of these young kids up, and a few of them actually won the contest at Chase too.
So really? Wow. Yeah, I just threw a stable together, and I just went with some of the trainers that you talk about, and I did get some points here and there, but kind of learning how the the race works. So
steeplechase, high variability. It's
I had like 2 negative 30s,
so that's gonna happen sometimes. But listen, if you've never played Stableduel before, just gonna share a couple of graphics with you really quick. So sign up and select a contest. Pretty straightforward. I got some screenshots that I'll share with everybody here in a second. But the premise is basically a daily fantasy game. Pick a team of 10 horses with a stable that you are given of $50,000. It's a fantasy budget stable. So select 10 horses for $50,000 in your budget. The cost of the horses is set on the morning line. So a 2-to-1 horse is going to cost $9,000. A 6-to-1 horse is going to cost $5,000. A 10-to-1, $1,000. Variations in between, obviously, but in descending order from obviously your shortest priced horses are going to cost the most. Your biggest long shots are going to cost the least. So if you're going on the app, pretty straightforward. On the far left, this is going to be your landing page. You click start a game. It's going to show you the games that are going on. You select the Assiniboia. You're going to see there's a free ride and a $25 game. Press that free ride, and you're able to get in there and sign up. And then once you press that free contest, then this sort of screen pops up where you can just press that little add button, select your horse. You see all the information on the horse right there. You see how much it costs, etc. If you click on an individual horse, it shows you this horse card over here on the right-hand side, shows you the career stats. So even if you don't have the PPs, you can still learn a lot of information from this sheet. Shows you the starts, the win, place, show, shows you the average speed, shows you how they did the last 5 times out, the surface, the finish, by how many distances, the trainer, the jockey, a lot of data on this page. Like I said, even if you don't have PPs, really easy to walk through. Cindy, I'm not 100% sure. That's a good question about whether or not we're allowing the Canadians to play yet. I know Bree, I talked to her a little while ago. They're working on some international deals. So I think it's in the future. I don't know about tonight, though, if that's going to be possible. Yeah. But listen, Cindy, the good news is once the game locks, we're going to be just talking average everyday betting strategies and doing live betting and talking about that. So we're going to talk a little Stableduel leading up to it, but we're all about trying to find value tonight on the card. But listen, Keith, for folks who may not know much about Assiniboia who are tuning in, I know you really got hooked on the, last year as well. I think a lot of us did. I mean, that was really my first full year playing it, completely as well. Yeah. What makes Assiniboia so much fun?
It's just something that, as far as, just it's player friendly. There's a lot of different wagers. Some of these, the Canadian tracks could be 20-cent wagers. So even for a newer player, you could kind of spread and, get familiar with the bet formats. And for me personally, one of my favorite things with Assiniboia is how familiar you can get with the horses, because a lot of the horses are stable there. And as you see, a lot of them, well, there are some, shippers coming in, but there are a lot of horses that actually haven't even raced since like last summer at Assiniboia. So, and they're still with the same trainer. So it's, it just seems like it's a nice weeknight track that just, the track and the everybody, the personnel seems so open and friendly, and the Twitter page and just the engagement. That's what we need as as you've seen on Twitter. Just horse players love openness and engagement about the game.
Absolutely. No, I couldn't agree more. You're absolutely right. So this is something, if you've not played before, listen, you got to get used to seeing, like Keith said, some of these horses have not run since September. That is par for the course, quite frankly. So that is something to pay attention to. How good are trainers at getting horses ready off the layoff? I know Ed DeRosa from Horse Racing Nation shared a statistic that trainer Wendy Anderson, 5 for 13 last year in the opening weeks of the meet, getting horses ready off the layoff. So that's something to keep in mind, potentially here for Assiniboia. The other thing to look at is just how these horses have performed. Again, to your point, Keith, these are horses that always run at Assiniboia. So they've had this sort of layoff before a lot of times. So looking at how they did last year in these races, did it take them a few races to run into shape, or were they ready to roll right off the bat? Now, speaking of somebody who's always ready to roll, is the one and only Bree Mott. Bree, how are you doing? So glad to have you here. Monday Night Lights. Assiniboia is back. This is very exciting for Stableduel and all of us.
I'm pumped. I literally just wolf food down, so I probably have stuff in my teeth, but it doesn't matter. Monday night, it doesn't matter what you look like. You just show up,
Yeah,
that's it.
You just show up.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, like I said, a big night for Stableduel. We got the free ride. We got the $25 contest going on, encouraging people to, get in the game and get started with this. A lot of fun. I know you guys have a ton of, ideas and games going all season long for Assiniboia and kind of working up to those big weekends that they have in September.
Manitoba Derby, it's all the route to get to the Derby.
All the route to get to the Derby. But, the best part is we got the free ride tonight. Get people in, get their foot in the door, and the $25 game as well, which is going to be a lot of fun. I have a stable in each, so I'm ready to roll tonight. But we were just talking before you dropped in, Bree, about what makes Assiniboia so fun. And we were talking about some of the things, but what made it? I mean, it seemed like you had a blast doing this last year as well. So what made Assiniboia so much fun for you?
I mean, where do I start? I think the fact that they are shorter races, and for the most part, every single, it's almost like trotters, which we're about to get into as well. Like you know what to expect on the condition wise of the racetrack, the distance. And so you can put that out of sight, out of mind, and just go to the horses and compare them in the race. And that's your only factor. It's not, can this horse go further, or well, this horse is doing this, and I think on a beginner base, that just takes a little bit of the work out, which is really nice, because we all know horse racing is a lot. It's really hard to look at the conditions. It's hard to look at trainers and jockeys. So many of the outsiders think that if you don't have inside knowledge, how could you, bet and play the sport? I actually think Assiniboia Downs is a perfect example. Just play the horses and, determine if this horse is fresh enough to run back and beat the rest of the horses. And the other thing is you see them come back. And so you're seeing them race against each other over and over again. And, sometimes Big Tony gets another one, or, you flip the other way. You're just seeing a lot of the same horses, which is also something you don't see a lot. So it's just a little bit of a different ballgame. And I mean, for a Monday night, what else are we going to do? I mean, Ted Lasso is good, but I got Ted Lasso tomorrow night. So.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. But listen, you showing up has gotten people excited in the chat. Tim, all hail the Stableduel Queen, Bree. And listen, Colin is picking up on your Assiniboia tweet earlier. You say Bree, I say Mott. There you go.
Right.
You say Assina, I say Aboya.
Yep. We'll get the chat.
That's great.
Chat going.
So love it. And hey, listen, everybody in the chat, let us know. First of all, if you're playing Stableduel, drop your Stableduel name in the chat. And your stable. I'm obviously Failed the Menace. And Keith is his Stableduel is his Twitter handle, Each and Every Stride as well. So we're pretty straightforward. You can follow. Actually, I'm not Failed the Menace. Why did I just say that? I'm Tupaloop.
You're Tupaloop.
So I'm Tupaloop on there because I signed up for Stableduel long before I was worried about my Twitter handle, and so I'm Tupaloop on there, and it keeps Each and Every Stride. But let us know what's your handle there on Stableduel, so we can follow you throughout the night. You can keep us updated. Let us know how you're doing throughout the night. We'll keep updates throughout the night, how everybody's doing. But we got a first-time player here. Penn State Scott, first time playing tonight. That's awesome.
There you go. That's what it's all about right there.
That is. All right. Good luck. Let's get in the game.
That's awesome.
So, Bree, I didn't know. Have you had a chance to cap the card much for Assiniboia tonight or not?
I have not. And that was one of the things that I was going to say. As I got on, I was doing what everyone should do, because this is the other side that is so great about Assiniboia Downs. Go to Assiniboia Downs website. They have something called a player portal, and you have everything in it that you need. They put photo finishes in there. They put, their pregame show, which is fantastic. It usually comes on, I think, 7:45 or 7:30, an hour before. Those two guys are another reason to watch Assiniboia Downs. So, just stay tuned. If this is really your first time, this is going to be great. But the most important thing about this entire spiel that I'm giving is free programs. So if you are looking for the data outside of the free horse detail screen in the Stableduel app, you get a lot more information free on the Assiniboia Downs website, player portal, free program. So that's what I was downloading as I got on, and I have it downloaded, so I'm going to pull it up.
All right. Well, listen, Colin is giving out a little bit of advice there online right now in the comment section. Inside Speed. That is a huge cheat code. Sarah El Badawi, I remember last year when she would come on and share those HRN graphics and statistics with us. Inside Speed, always a big time factor in these races. And that's something to keep in mind. It's interesting. I heard a little bit about, early in the season, you actually want horses that are maybe coming from a little off the pace, which does speak to conditioning. Sometimes those horses that get out in the lead early get a little too, they expend a little too much. They don't have the foundation quite yet. I think that is something to keep in mind because, Keith, you brought up an interesting point. We are seeing quite a few horses shipping in from Turfway Park, even from Keeneland and from Turf Paradise and other tracks. So they might have a really good foundation, maybe a little bit of a leg up on the competition.
So that's something I had to consider. I usually like the horses that have at least had a race or two on the surface at Assiniboia. I tend to sometimes like Turf Paradise shippers at times. It seems like that circuit kind of is connected, and some of the trainers are, maybe associated with other trainers there. But for the most part, I did find a few. As far as a class level, like there's a horse later on that was running at Turfway and Keeneland, and I used that horse just based on just the competition he was facing.
Yeah, no, I know exactly which horse you're talking about because I use that horse too. And so listen, we got some great Stableduel players in here tonight. We got Begsy in there. Begsy's always a good player, always up there on the leaderboard. Always good to see Ryan in there. Obviously, Tim, Riders Up, always a super good player, contest player as well. And absolutely love Kevin's comment here as well, which is he is sitting outside eating pizza rolls, watching Assiniboia Downs and capping for Wednesday already. And that is
on a Monday night right there.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's the life.
Sounds like a good night right there.
I mean, I tell you. Kevin, though, if you can get through a pizza roll without burning the top of your mouth,
we've already won, right?
There's always one that gets you.
It is indeed. So listen, we got we got about 12 minutes before first post. So Keith, I was interested, maybe I thought we could maybe give one or two plays out potentially for those first timers that are out there. And not just necessarily in the first race, but just, is there a price? Because that's the whole thing about Stableduel. You got to balance selecting your favorite with selecting long shots. I know you said you had a couple of prices you were interested in on the card, and maybe one or two you want to give out to the folks.
Yeah, so that's a great point you made. I mean, I think Stableduel really makes you a better handicapper because it's, forces you, as you said, Bree, it just forces you to, work on a budget, $50,000 to, really try to max that. And I try not to use favorites that I feel like in any kind of betting race that feel like they may have, a few holes in them. But as far as prices go, let me just pull up this one race here. I was very intrigued on one horse here. Let me go back to this here for you.
And we should mention Henry's pointing out, by the way, former Brad Cox horse that's actually running tonight as well. So sometimes you see those big time connections, and we got to give a shout out again to Cindy. 41st opening day for her at Assiniboia Downs. Shout out, Cindy. That's awesome. That is just fantastic. So yeah. No, that is, and by the way, Kevin said you got to wait for him to cool down, and he made that mistake just once.
Maybe you. I've done it at least 10 times.
Anyway, Keith, go for it. What was one of your horses that you looked at tonight?
Yeah, I was looking actually at the second race here. So if anybody wanted to even look at the daily double, so I like the number 3 actually, Prairie Magic, and. I like, as we were talking about before, this horse it's just primarily races at Assiniboia and raced September 20th. I just see some really consistent running lines, and I always look for value, especially Stableduel. I mean, I'm using this horse 10-1. Just I like horses that like you actually touched on, front speed in the beginning of the meet could be a little susceptible, as far as the pace goes. So somebody off the pace like Prairie Magic, and I like this, and has been in the money. Let's see, we're looking at 8 times out of 13 races. So I like that price there. Did you look at Prairie Magic as well, or?
I did. I used Prairie Magic on 1 or 2, and I had very similar notes. I had 8 for 13 in the money at Assiniboia in its career. Ran a very close-up third in a high-level allowance race after a 14-month layoff before. So this horse can fire off a long layoff. I thought that was something that was impressive. And then, very good at this level. I mean, that second race is a $5,000 claimer, and when you actually just strip away all of the non-claiming races in this horse's career, there's a lot of good efforts. And when you look at some of those even optional claiming efforts, there's some solid ones. So when you take away some of those allowance level races and maybe higher level races, this horse fits in this position for sure. I also think the 6 is kind of an interesting horse as well. Artisan Dancer, again, 8-1 in the morning line, only going to cost you $3,000 in Stableduel. This is a horse that is more of an underneath play, 6 for 10 in the money at the distance, has come off the bench. I think has done well before off a little bit of it. They didn't have any substantial layoffs, but this is a horse that I think once it got on the dirt at Assiniboia had a really nice season last year. And like I said, Wendy's pretty good. And also, if you look at how this horse has performed at that claiming 5,000 level, there are some things that definitely fit there. But this is I think a wide open race. I'll also say I was a little intrigued later on in the horse Happy Camper in one of those races I think it was race 3, and so that was one that I also looked at, the number 7 horse in race 3, 10-1 in the morning line, only going to cost you $1,000, but that's a horse that's been running at Horseshoe Indianapolis and Turfway Park recently, so that's one that's just been in good form and has foundation. I mean, that's something that I really look for in some of those horses that can sometimes be long shots. So that's a couple, but listen, we almost have to stop the live stream now. We got a legend in the house. We got Dennis Trusty here. Dennis, opening a comment, already a spelling error. Dennis, you're killing me here, my friend. And so I love you to death, but come on, spell check. Dennis.
Spell check, please.
It's so good to see Dennis. And that's awesome. Glad to see
Never
you here. So gonna be a lot of fun. But listen, we got 7 minutes to post. So who do we like in this first race a little bit? Bree, have you had a chance to look at the first one yet or not?
I was just diving in race 2 and looking at Prairie Magic because we were talking about that horse. And an interesting thing, which could be questionable, which is also sometimes the fun thing about this track. I'm gonna throw that out there. But so someone else is the 8-5 favorite, and that's the number 1. And if you look, the works of Prairie Magic are identical to the favorite, the last 2 back. So same trainer. So wonder if they were working together here, and they had identical works, or maybe this. I'm not really sure, but. If you're looking at horses coming off a long layoff, which some of them are because the last time they ran is September, or you look at Woodbine for Tapiture Way, that was December. So still we're looking at layoffs here. You want to look at the workouts, in my opinion. And these 2 horses have very similar great workouts. And I mean, you're getting a heck of a price at 10-1 compared to 8-5. So something to note.
That's a great point. And I would say you really got to look at the work tab in 2 ways. I think at Assiniboia, 1, for these horses coming off a layoff, I know there were a couple of horses, they've gotten 2 works in, 2 official works. That's it since last September. And it's like, they're going to let that horse run into shape a little bit. There's other horses who have been, 5-6 works leading up to this. The other thing you have to do is, this isn't Gulfstream. This isn't Keeneland. This isn't Belmont. So your 5 furlong works are going to look pretty slow. Your 5 furlong, like I saw a 5 furlong bullet that was like 104-1. And I was like, okay, hey, the bottom line, it was the best one of the day. And so, you just have to, it was when we played Sam Houston back in the day, it was the same sort of thing. You just have to recalibrate your expectations. You just can't come in here expecting a bunch of Brad Cox horses throwing out, 59-3, 5 furlong works. I mean, you have to kind of compare them to everybody else's works that are in the field. Right. So, yeah.
Again, like that's sort of the fun challenge here. So, but so many people are like, oh, it's Irad and Todd. Like, let's throw money at it. Like, you don't get to do that here. You really have to look at the horses. You have to be curious. You have to say, last time out, just didn't get out of the gate. But other than that, consistent, like really look at the records here and really have fun with it. And it's a good challenge for sure.
Yeah. So looking at race number 1, and by the way, we got about 4 minutes to make sure you get your Stableduel entries in there. So make sure to get those in, and that's going to be a big thing. But in race number 1, I ultimately used this one to play 2 different horses. I decided to play the 4 Brody Streak, who is 8-1 on the morning line, and also the number 1 horse Market King, who is 3-2 right now, but was 3-1 on the morning line. Those were the 2 horses that I was looking to play. Brody Streak coming off a layoff, but won at 5 furlongs last year at Assiniboia Downs in a stakes race, actually in 2 stakes races. This horse likes to get to the lead, but can win sitting off. I know he's a little further out from the rail, which I know sometimes can be a little bit of an issue, but this horse was in good form last year. And I think, can certainly come back and finish well underneath and has been taking some money. And then with Market King, this is just, quite frankly, Jared Brown and Carreno you talked about like Chad Brown and Irad Ortiz, like that's the equivalent here. These 2 win 35% of the time together. So that's just one of those jockey trainers that I think everybody looks at. Now, I know some people in the comments right at the wire, and I think a couple other people really like this 3, the Tampa Bay Invader, the Tampa Downs, and that makes a lot of sense. It certainly makes a lot of sense. And that horse has taken some money as well. So I think this one's pretty good. So absolutely worth taking a look at. I was a little worried that horse is only 1 for 4 winning at 5 furlongs. So that was something I was a little concerned about, just because in Stableduel, if you're going to spend $9,000 or more on a horse, you really need that horse to win. Yeah. That horse finishing 2nd and 3rd doesn't really do much for you from a return on investment standpoint. So this is an exciting one. We got like 2 minutes or so to post, and I think we got pretty exciting game going on here. Or actually, we got 6 minutes to post. I'm sorry, it's 8:35 is first post, so we still got a little bit more time. So if you haven't gotten your stables in, make sure to get them in.
So many people play the free rides, and there is no hate here. 100% play the free rides, but also understand the competition is so much higher in the free ride just by sheer numbers. And your payout is so much lower because it's a total of $100. So if you look at the projected payouts, which if you have updated your app in the last month, you will see that projected payouts are right there on the contest screen. The potential to cash way more is bigger in the $25 game. Competition is far less. And I get it for some people, $25, but it's the entire card. If you bet $5 a race, that's less than what you're paying for a Stableduel entry. And the potential to cash is potentially
absolutely better. And I was just going to call that out, Bree. Actually, I'm glad you said that, because the winning stable in the $25 game is winning $375 tonight. And here's the real kicker. You can finish all the way down to 15th place and you'll double up. You'll win $50 for finishing 15th. And here's the kicker. There's only 50 stables in the $25 game right now. So basically the top third of stables is going to double up. And you can't really beat that. Whereas in the free ride, yes, it's free. It doesn't cost anything, but there's 234 stables and only the top 10 pay out. So there's a lot more competition there. Your top prize is going to win $30. Top 10 wins $5. But it is, like I said, something certainly to keep in mind. You and I have gone back and forth about this over the years, Bree. I was one who got in initially playing those free rides, playing those low dollar contests. And listen, you win a few of those low dollar contests and you start kicking yourself because you go, man, I could have won the $100 contest and won $1,000. I could have won, And
but now you can look, if you're in the free game, you can open the leaderboard for the 25 and see where you would match up there. And that's kind of fun because sometimes, just like you said, it's a punch in the face. but other times it's a confidence build, right? So pros and cons of all this.
No, you always see those tweets. Yeah, you always see like, oh, you would have won 200 if you in the paid game, and it's nice to win, but it's nice to win that money and that prize.
Just doing the work.
Absolutely. El Hombre, glad to see you're checking in from the chat. Wishing everybody good luck tonight. It's great to see so many people in the chat. Listen, we got a ton of people in here tonight. This is a lot of fun, and we're going to be here all night tonight. We're going to be talking all of these races. We're going to be keeping updated on the Stableduel standings. A lot of you have been dropping your Stableduel names in the chat. You're going to have to keep us updated with how everybody's doing after every single race. We're going to keep you updated with how things are going after every single race as well. And listen, you got to, like I said, you got to balance those big time prices with those shorter, those longer priced horses. The beautiful thing about Assiniboia is, particularly, I think, Keith, I don't know about you, but early in this card, you have some smaller sized fields. And those are usually races I like to attack a long shot in, because in a 5-horse race, you're going to get points for 5th place no matter what. So, especially in these sprints, it's unlikely that a horse is going to get beat by a huge amount of lengths. Yeah. So, so I kind of went, I went kind of aggressive early. I think I think I used 2 horses and maybe 3 of the first 4 races or something like that. Okay. And then just use kind of 1 horse in each race the rest of the way. And, but there's no right or wrong strategy. It's about having fun. And it's about picking some winners and avoiding red numbers. That's the other key is just don't have red numbers. If you pick horses that are doing behind. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. I tell people a funny story. There was genuinely a game at Tampa Bay Downs. I won the contest, finished first place in the contest. I picked 8 second place horses, a third place horse, and a 4th place horse. I didn't pick a winner all freaking day, and yet I managed to win the contest. And so, and so it's just surreal that I had that bad a seconditis, but at least I won. That's the fun part. And I think that's been, like I said, a fun part of playing Stableduel. Certainly a fun part of playing it here at Assiniboia Downs. And also the other thing is, let us know in the chat, where are you coming in from? I know, we got Cindy coming in from up in the Manitoba, but let us know, where are you checking in from across the country, across the world? Love to know where everybody's hanging out tonight. We know that Kevin's having pizza rolls somewhere outside, handicapping the card.
Making me hungry over here. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I just have my Propel energy water. This is not appetizing compared to pizza rolls. I'd much rather have
leftover iced coffee here.
But we got right at the wire checking in from Little Rhodey from Warren, Rhode Island. So good to see. A lot of great stuff.
I visited the college. I went to Penn State, so more love for Penn State. But I did visit Rhode Island College, and the big ag was sheep, and I was more obsessed with horses and cows. So other than that, Rhode Island was beautiful, but it was just too many sheep at the college.
I love it. So Scott asks a great question here. Strategy: do you leave any money out of the 50, or is that a no? I don't ever try to use up all 50,000. If I have a couple thousand left over, I don't. If I feel good about my selections, I feel good about my selections. I don't try to spend every dime of the fantasy budget. Let's see. We got people checking in from Colorado. My sister lives out in Denver. I love Colorado. Beautiful state out there. We got people checking in from Lancaster, not Pennsylvania, which is where I grew up, or near where I grew up, but Lancaster, California. And right at the wire, I am sorry. I apologize. I will never refer to Rhode Island as a Little Rhodey again. Good to know these things. Awesome to see so many of you out there. I see some folks in here from Orlando, from Kansas City, from New Jersey, Raleigh, North Carolina, all over the place. So awesome to see people checking in. You got William checking in from Alberta, Canada. So we got people, like I said, from all across the world checking in here on the live stream. Going to be a lot of fun. You got a minute or so left, so make sure to get those Stableduel live streams in, contests in. We got a minute to go on the card before the race 1 kicks off. And, it is
update from last year, actually. You can now watch Assiniboia in the Stableduel app. So before you can tune in to TVG or whatever you're watching, But if you don't have an account and all you have is the Stableduel app, you can watch live on the Stableduel. But we do always have some fun over here because a lot of times we call the race just because.
Well, Bree, one of the things when when El Hombre and I talked to Assiniboia, they said we can show the stream here on the live stream. So we are going to show and hear Kurt call the race, which is the best thing.
Oh, cool. I don't even need to pull it up on my app then.
Yeah. And I even have to say, we got to give a real special shout out to Paul, who is checking in from Ireland and is at least staying up with us for the first race. It's 1:34 a.m. over there. God bless you, Paul.
That's dedication.
Thank you so much for checking in. That is awesome. So this is really great. The horses are about to make their way to the starting gate. Right now, the post-time favorite is the number 2 horse. It's That Time. Certainly a very good horse with Bree's favorite jockey, Chow, is the jockey. So you got Chavian Chow. And listen, that's a very good horse who ran in some really nice races last year. Ran against some good competition. You got Inter Miami, the number 3 horse, at 5-2. You got Market King at 3-1. Brody's Streak is at 6-1, and then the long shot is number 5, El Maestro, at 10-1 right now. So the board is reading 2, 3, 1, 4, 5 right now in terms of those favorites. So who's everybody on in the first race? What do we got?
I'm going right now. I'm opening up my account.
All right,
cool.
So go ahead and start it out.
I just used Brody's Streak. That's it, actually. So I'm glad we're on the same page there. So you just touched on a lot of good points. Won at this distance last year at a stakes race, like you mentioned, and it just doesn't need the lead. I know it's a short field, but 8-1, like we were saying, that's a good value to start. And I just went with just Brody's Streak to start. So
no, nothing wrong with It's That Time. I mean, the number 2 horse makes a ton of sense. One off a really long layoff last year at 5 furlongs. It's interesting. That's a horse that actually has stretched out really, really well, and does certainly have a lot of class in terms of those late speed, pace speed figures do not collapse, which is sometimes what you see from those, big time speed horses on the front end. So let us know what is how you're betting this first race. How are you betting it? Are you betting straight up? Are you just doing a win bet? Do you got a daily double going? Let us know. Are you playing exactas, tries? How are you playing this first race outside of Stableduel? What's going on with your betting tonight? And we're going to be obviously keeping track of that all night. And they are making their way to the starting gate. So I am going to actually pull up the feed, and we are going to be able to hopefully listen in a little bit.
Crazy.
Wow, this is the first right now.
I just put $10 on the Tampa shipper, so
it's funny. I knew this horse from Tampa, and I've actually used this horse in my Stableduel in the past. I think Inter Miami is definitely going to show a lot of speed. I just couldn't get past the Tampa to Assiniboia move. I don't know. That's like all of like North America right there.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. He's gonna be wearing a Sherpa going to the gate, like.
I love it. So we got the official It's Post Time graphics there for Assiniboia Downs, and we are excited. We got Inopa in race number 1. He are going number 3 to win, and a double with the 3 over the 2-5. And Dennis has got a win bet on the 1. So that is bad news for my 1. All right. So there we go.
All right.
Oh, this is great. Right on the stream. Yep.
I'm pumped.
Now just waiting on El Maestro.
In fairness, they're pretty close to actual post time. This is kind
they
of
are.
Yeah, this is rare.
All right, here we go.
All right, good luck, everybody.
And they're off in the Don Gray Memorial. From the inside, Market King quickly goes out to establish the early lead by a length and a half. Settled on the outside, Inter Miami with Brody's Streak getting a 3-wide trip. It's El Maestro back in for
who's the gray Brody?
Early trailer.
Yeah, Brody's Streak.
Yeah, it's the 4. It's the gray.
through the opening quarter. It's still Market King with that lead. Entered Miami.
Looks like a sizzler. That's what he
down
says.
for the drive in.
Get up there.
Street,
Right,
still 3 wide, and it's
Jesus. They go halfway to Manitoba. Let's cut the corner a little bit.
Wow.
Who knew what it was doing? Come on.
Market King.
Into Miami. Trying to find more.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, no. Come on. One more.
Miami. It's that time late. It's gonna be Market King.
Market King, baby.
The opener.
Wow.
All right.
Miami second. And
Foul play. I want an objection.
Ah!
That's great.
What are you objecting about?
I mean, he pushed him out wide. It was unnecessary. You know what I mean? He kind of knew what he was doing. He didn't need to go. Come on.
It was, listen, I remember one time watching down there because they have so much speed going around those turns, and they go so wide around there. And every once in a while, you have somebody who can cut the corner, and it's like, holy hell, they just made up like eight lengths on everybody else.
Yeah.
By the way, this is great. Glad to see you, Jessica. I think this is the right objection. The winner ran too fast. So,
all right, you're allowed back. I like
that. So I love that. And Dennis, listen, Dennis is flexing a little bit after he got his win on the number one. Wow. Dennis, you're my good luck charm now to Assiniboia. So
we'll see. Let's win a couple of races there, Dennis.
Yeah, that was a good first race to kind of ease into the Stableduel. 5 horses.
Absolutely. Well, let us know who hit. I know a couple of you had bets on the number 1 horse to win, so that definitely paid off. That was that was a nice little win there on the number 1.
9-5, not bad.
9-5. So you make a little bit of money there.
Where did Brody finish?
5th,
fourth,
yeah.
or fifth. It was a 4th or 5th. Okay, I wasn't sure.
Kind of faded late, but maybe a couple of points I'll get there.
Yeah, 8-1 though. Again, if you those long shots again, you don't need a ton of points to get there. You just need a little bit, and so that's the benefit of sometimes using those long shots in those shorter field races that you can sometimes still steal a couple points even if a horse finishes last. But Mitchell points out, indeed, it did finish last, but by less than 10 lengths. So we got points, baby. That's what it's all about. Staying away from the red, all about the green.
We're on the board, yeah.
So, Brian, glad to see you checking in, man. Always good to see Brian there in the chat as well. Always glad to be live capping tonight. This is going to be a lot of fun. So, should be a blast. And Jessica's had some success this past weekend. She had some beginner's luck winning some big time contests at Preakness, and she didn't even realize that Stableduel ran weekday games.
Every day. We got them every day.
Yeah. Every perhaps much to my chagrin, every single day. Or much to my boss.
I think you've been doing just fine.
No, I have. It just
is your dad in?
He's not, because he couldn't get the app to work. It's been a whole thing. It's been a whole thing today. I've been going back and forth with my brother. I can
drive to his house and get him set up on the app.
That's the customer service level that we're talking about.
Yeah. So
that's great.
He is, but he is excited for Assiniboia. He's always excited for Assiniboia, and he was, of course, texting me about the buffet that they had at Assiniboia tonight. So that's the other thing is you go on their website, you can see all sorts of things. You can get races named after your friends and family members. Actually, and that's a lot of fun. So it's a blast. And Bree, Paul here has a little bit of a question. He'd love to be able to play Stableduel in Europe, and I think you might be making some moves in that area, maybe a little bit.
We're coming to you next month, or maybe the month after that. So
there it is.
Wow, that's great.
Yep, we are.
Unless you're in some country in Europe that we can't get there, so I'm hoping that you're saying two potentially big countries. Yes.
He's in Ireland, so I think he should be okay. If he's in Ireland.
Yes.
So, Bree, your volume just went out. So.
What?
Oh no, you're back. You're back.
Oh, I was whispering.
Right. So this is a great question that Right at the Wire asked about, will my dad come on at some point? This is all contingent on my brother. I will get my brother to get the technical setup, and at some point, one of these weeks, we will get my dad to come on and do something. Because otherwise, if it was just my dad left to his own device, you would see he would use his phone and he would put his phone like right here in front of his face, and you'd just see my dad's giant nose the entire time on the live stream, and nobody wants to see that.
$2 show bets, right?
Yeah. Yeah, $2 show. That's my dad's bet. $2 show bet. And then he's so proud when he wins $260 back. And he's like, "Oh, pretty good."
Wins a win.
He's banking right now. Yeah.
Wins a win.
So we were just, I forget what you were just saying, but it ignited an idea. Somehow we should plan or figure out to plan or a sweepstakes, a group to get to the Manitoba Derby.
Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be a lot of fun.
In September, we have lots of planning time.
Yeah, we do.
Sure at that point, Keith will have a private jet to fly us all.
All right. Well, I gotta do a little bit better winning, but hopefully I'll get there. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Winning attitude.
We could always dream. Yeah, exactly.
No, I think that'd be a blast to get up there. I mean, it's the customer service is fantastic. And I have to give a huge shout out to Assiniboia last year. They knew how much my dad liked the track, and I wanted to get something for Father's Day. And I've not told the Assiniboia people Downs this. So this is like, I'm not saying this because of anything. This is a cool story. And so I wrote to Assiniboia because I couldn't buy anything on their site. I couldn't figure out how to buy merchandise for Assiniboia on their website. And I said, listen, my dad loves your track. I'd love to get him something for Father's Day. Just let me know basically what I'm happy to pay, whatever. Do you have a hat? Like, do you have a thermos or something like that? Anything. They, without even telling me, they sent me an entire care package for my dad for free, didn't charge me a penny, with a thermos, with a coffee cup, with koozies, with a hat, with a t-shirt that my stepmom now wears and has taken over. Fantastic customer service. And they really do care about the player. They reduced takeout a little bit this year. So that's obviously for those win, play, show, exacta bettors. That's something that's really great to see, that those pools, there's less takeout in those pools. They've increased purse money for some of their races, as you might see. A lot of those races that might have last year been claiming 3,500, now claiming 5,000. The races that were an optional claimer 15, now an optional claimer 20. So it's great to see that they're putting a lot of money back into the sport and back into the pockets, hopefully, of those of us who love to play. So.
Well, two things. So now you have flooded their inbox with emails of their dads before Father's Day needing things. So we apologize for doing that.
Yeah.
Second, why don't we do a giveaway for tonight? I'm going to let Matthew, if you want to think of how you want to do it, I'll probably stay through race 2 and then I'm going to bounce. But that exact hat that Keith is modeling so beautifully, we will give away tonight on the live stream, however Matt and Keith decide to.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, perfect. We will do that. Maybe we'll do, if somebody can pick the winner of the third race. That's what we're going to do. If you pick the winner of the third race, and don't put it in the chat yet because we'll lose it. So I'll let you know when to put it in the chat. But we'll do the winner of the third race. If you pick it, and then we'll kind of do a random wheel if there are multiple people who have the winner, and we'll determine who is going to be the recipient of that Assiniboia Downs hat giveaway. So make sure to stick around in the chat, and we will be, giving that out. That'll be a lot of fun. Bree, what else is going on in Stableduel these days?
Oh my goodness. Actually quite a bit. So I think I'll drop news that no one knows tonight. I know. Harness racing is coming.
Oh next. Man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pumped.
That's awesome. So you will have we've had steeplechase this year that has been really fun. And now we're going to have harness racing next week, and we have some great tracks signed up, some great partners to do some feature races. And then we are going to do some crossover contests where we'll have like Penn National 5 races and the Meadows 5 races. So you're going to have horses from each race that night, and and you can be crowned the harness thoroughbred flat racing champion. So
that is awesome.
So that one's pretty big. Let's see what else is coming up. A couple others that I can't drop yet, but That one's a good one. Harness is a good one.
That's amazing. Wow.
That's a great one. And listen, if you had not been playing the steeplechase contests over the summer, you really were missing out. Those were an absolute blast. Are we going to get those again in the fall by any chance? Are they coming back?
I hope so. If anybody wants to tweet at the National Steeplechase Association and say we want Stableduel to like put us into good, we're going to meet with them again and hopefully carry on through the fall. I think it was great. It was really fun to offer something different. And again, all of these are kind of interesting handicapping angles that I do think makes you a better handicapper, because you have to think way different than you get thinking if you're only looking at one track. Like Matthew, I remember when, we met at Charlestown, you were only betting like a couple racetracks, and then it was Emerald Downs and Assiniboia, and and now you're and I think it makes you a better handicapper, and you meet great people. So I think that's a huge part of it as well.
You do. And as I pointed out before you got on, I said, listen, if a bunch of slightly inebriated college kids in the middle of nowhere can download the app and play the game, then you listening at home can certainly do that as well. And a couple of those kids won money in that steeplechase contest too that day that we were out there. That was a lot of fun. That was a blast. Loved the steeplechase experience, and it seems just like so many great people too that are in the sport, from trainers to jockeys. So it's just really, really great, and it was really cool. That Carrie, who is one of the big trainers in steeplechase, won a huge race on the Black Eyed Susan Day undercard on Preakness.
I saw that. Really cool. That's amazing.
I have a little bit of a bone to pick with you about that, Matthew.
Why is that?
I mean, just a simple text message of, "Hey, Bree, our friend Carrie's running a horse, and I really like it, and I think you should bet it just because I like it and Carrie's running horse." Would have been nice. Anything. All
right.
Little heads up, right?
All I'm saying is if you watch my capping the card, it was right there. I put it out for the public. I let everybody know. Race number 3. I like the 11 horse. So that Caroline Christina, it's a half sibling, broke its maiden on the turf, going short, and first time out, and all right. Well, in the future, Bree, you will get the personalized text message.
Well, full circle to that, I think the cool thing, and I don't know if I'm getting the facts perfectly, but she exercise rode, or she was an assistant trainer to the mother of that filly. So for her, it's super full circle.
Wow.
She now has the offspring of a mare that she really loved back in the day, and that's really fun to see.
That's so. That must be just so special for her, so close, just, to have that history with the family.
Yeah. I can't, and a lot of times they have similar personalities, so it'd be interesting to know if the filly is the same as the mare. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we got, things are moving along here at Assiniboia. We are 10 minutes to post in race number 2. And Keith, our value play of the number 3 horse is no longer value. And that's the beauty of Stableduel, folks, because that 10-1 horse is now 2-1 and the favorite in race number 2. And that's the beauty, though, of Stableduel is you lock that horse in your stable at $1,000 at 10-1. Now this horse is going to potentially go off at 2-1. Would have cost you $9,000 if you had left it go until post time. So that's the beauty of finding horses, and sometimes finding the morning line that might be off a little bit, and seeing where the money is going to go in these types of races. So that is like it's your current favorite in race number 2. The co-first choice is also the number 1, Someone Else, followed by the number 2, Tap It Your Way at 4-1. Artisan Dancer, the number 6 horse, is at 5-1. Then you have the number 5 horse, Saturday Service, at 7-1, and Sea of Life, who was at 20-1, now down to 11-1. So that horse is also taking a little bit of money as well there. So, Keith, I know you like that number 3 in there. Was there another horse that you liked, maybe not just for Stableduel, but just in general? Where are you looking in this race potentially?
And Keith, just know that when you say this, you're going to drive the odds down, because apparently you have that power. So
they must have gotten my my $100 win bet. It's some sharp handicappers out there. So let's see. I mean, I used actually in Stableduel, I used the 3 and the 1. So looks like co-favorites right now. So I did use. Let me just double check that here. I'm in the free ride. Now, what's interesting is that with the update that Stableduel has, I'm an Android user, so now everything's up to date. You actually got, we got 57% of stables used Prairie Magic. So that's a big number for a 10-to-1 shot.
Yep. Absolutely.
I was looking at this one also. So yeah. You know what? As I review this here, I actually only went with Prairie Magic. So I have the 1 as my second choice, but in Stableduel purposes, I just went with the 3.
Yeah, and so the 1 is certainly a very good horse coming out of Fort Erie and Woodbine. Has been running largely on the synthetic at Woodbine. Does have some dirt races that aren't bad. Certainly that last race at Fort Erie, going 5 furlongs in the slop, isn't bad. I was a little concerned about the speed figures on the dirt for that number 1, particularly at the 8-to-5 cost for Stableduel, but even just in general. Also, the trainer is only a 44-cent ROI off the bench. So I was a little worried about that. That said, the works have looked at least regular and halfway decent leading up to the debut for 2023 for this one. So, there's definitely some things to like there. I always get a little scared. I don't know about you, Keith or Bree. I always get a little scared when there's 2 horses that are short prices. Like there's an 8-to-5 and a 9-to-5. And I'm always like, I'm going to choose the wrong one. I know I'm going to choose the wrong one. So I end up usually avoiding both of them. And I'm like, I don't even want to have to choose, because if I choose the wrong one, I'm going to get so mad. Yeah. I'd rather choose the 3rd place horse for $1,000. And so, yeah.
I just went with the 3. You know what? It's so funny. I originally had the 1, and then I was concerned with the rail, and just the races looked okay at Woodbine, but I just used my my money elsewhere for that amount of 8-to-5 morning line. Is you got to make sure that the horse hopefully will be right there.
Yeah, and so we saw obviously in the first race, the number 1 horse broke very cleanly from the inside rail, was able to go gate to wire there in race number 1. I will say it looks like, in my opinion, I think the 6 is the better speed in this race, though. If you're looking for the speed of the speed in a 5 furlong race, it would appear as if, at least looking at Timeform US early pace indicators, that horse has 103 early pace rating. The next closest is the number 1 at 82, but that's a pretty big gap in terms of an early pace advantage for the number 6. I think that was part of the reason I kind of liked that horse a little bit, obviously coming in off a long layoff. So, we'll see. But the works have been at least regular leading up to this. Going back, I think, gotten in 5 works before this first debut race this year.
Yeah, I think if you're looking for value here, you can look at the 6. Compared to the other ones, the 6 has run 9 times at Assiniboia, 1-1, 2 seconds, and 2 thirds. Some of the other ones haven't run at Assiniboia at all. Sea of Life has run 5 times, only 1 second and 1 third. Prairie Magic, which now makes perfect sense with the odds, is the one that has run the most time and has 5 seconds, 2 firsts, and a third. So, if you're looking for a little bit of value and one that knows the track and has shown up, and really you can even look at some of Hovers and Dancers like past races, you've got $10,000, $15,000 allowance, and it's been in the money. So it's not as if this horse has been running only and claiming 5,000 and has been all over the board. Some of it is a bit of a drop down here, and it's been in the money for allowance 15,000, allowance optional claiming 10,000. And again, those were back last year, but if you're looking for value, there's your value.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like even a 3rd or 4th place finish there would be excellent for that value.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and looking at the number 3, this is another thing that Bree and Keith, you both touched on. If you follow this track regularly, then you see a lot of the same names. One of the names that you'll see going back to, now you got to go back to the 2021 form, but it is Melisandre. That is a horse that ran a lot last year at Assiniboia, had a huge year 2 years ago as a 3-year-old, if I'm not mistaken, and then had a little bit more of an off year last year, but that was a very good horse that was running in stakes level competition by the end of that Assiniboia meet last year. Again, if you watch Assiniboia a lot, those names start coming back around. There is a horse leader in the card, Bree, that ran against Mia Bear multiple times, and that's one that if you know Assiniboia, I'm going to always elevate my Mia Bear.
I scanned the card twice just to make sure that she wasn't running tonight. So
Mia Bear is like the Rachel Alexandra of Assiniboia Downs.
She really is, though.
She's America's
had a great year last year.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if you talked about, I know we're getting close to post time, but I don't know if you talked about the progression of the season for Assiniboia Downs.
Oh, that's a great point. Yeah.
And how it's positioned for horses and what you see them do. So please, you have the floor, Matthew.
Yeah, well, that's a great point. So the first month or so, you're going to see these 5 furlong sprints, the majority of the card. As the season goes on, they start stretching these horses out. So they'll start getting stretched out to 6 to 6.5 to 7. And by the end of the year, some of these horses are going to be going a mile and an eighth even on this track. So that's something to pay attention to. Some of these horses, if you're looking at past performances, you would go, hey, they finished 2022 really hot. Well, they might have done that because they were getting stretched out and they need a lot more distance. They're not maybe naturally 5 furlong sprint horses, and they get better the more they get stretched out. Some horses are just those traditional 5 furlong sprinters that are just excelling at this time of year and maybe the next month, but that's it. So it's just always something to pay attention to. I mean, that's why, starting next month and the following, pedigrees become so much more important to see, like, who actually can stretch out, who can get 2 turns, that sort of thing. So that's a really great point, that you kind of grow with the track throughout the meet. So we got what, 2 minutes to post here at Assiniboia, and
it looks like it updated in Stableduel, so everybody can check their points.
Oh yeah,
it's good.
Let us know where you're at.
So since we're talking about bets, I'm going to do a win place on the 6 for value just to see what happens, and I'm going to do an exacta, I think, on the 3 and the 6 here, and just hope that 1 and 2 get out. Not interested.
There you go.
I like it.
There you go. Keith, what are you betting this one at all? If so, how?
I mean, obviously 2 to 1's kind of tough to take on the 3. So I do like your idea of an exacta. I'm going to probably end up just doing a win place bet on the 3, maybe like $5 win place just to see and build that bankroll, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm going to do a $10 win on the 6, and I'll probably play a 6 over. I'll do an exacta key box with the 6 keyed and with the 3 and 1. So that's how I'm going to be playing it. I really like the 6. I'll go with the speed in this one and see kind of how it plays out. But we are quickly approaching post time here for race number 2 at Assiniboia Downs, going 5 furlongs. It is a $5,000 claimer, and track is fast. And that's the other beauty. We should mention there is no turf at Assiniboia. It's just all dirt. So you don't have to worry about, how do I...
5 furlongs. Yep.
Yeah.
So Matt, explain a key box exacta, because I'll tell you, it took me years of gambling before one, I had the balls to ask somebody, and 2, even afterwards to figure it out. So just in case anyone's listening and they hear a key box, I think it'd be worth explaining.
So an exacta, obviously top 2, an exacta key or exacta box, I should say. Let's start with that. So an exacta box is just, they can finish either way. So 2-1 or 1-2, it doesn't matter. You just give the person at the window 2 numbers. An exacta key box is when you key one of those horses and you go, listen, this horse has to finish either first or second. But the key box allows you to have that flexibility that horse can finish first or second. And then you include those other horses that underneath, presumably, that you would like. But those horses could win as long as your horse finishes first or second. So it gives you the same sort of flexibility that an exacta key does, or an exacta box does, I should say. But by keying in on one horse, the price of the ticket goes down. So you can actually end up using more horses for the same cost than if you were to try to just do a straight up exacta box. That can get a little bit pricey if you start adding 4 or 5 horses to it. If you do an exacta key box, it cuts that number in half. So that's something just to keep in mind. It's a fun way. It's a safer bet, but it's also a little bit of a less expensive bet for people who are just wanting to spend, $5 or something like that on a card. So we are getting there. They are making their way to the starting gate, it looks like. And we do have the post time favorite is the number 1, Someone Else, coming off that long layoff with the actually just changed. So the number 2 horse is actually now the favorite. Yeah, Tapiture's Way now the top choice at 9-5. Then the number 1 at 5-2. Then the number 3 at 3-1. Then you see Artisan Dancer at 9-2. and Saturday Service at 8-1, followed by Sea of Life at 16-1 on the post time odds. So, like I said, they are making their way there for race number 2, and we will go ahead and pull this up on the screen here momentarily.
Yeah, I remember the artist and dancer from last year. He looks very good on the track, actually, and that outside post with that speed, you might be onto something there.
Every once in a while, blind squirrels find nuts, and I'll take it.
Keith, you have to stop talking about this horse. I went to 6
right?
1 down to 90.
Oh. I know, right? I speak and the people follow, I guess.
I know. I know. You're killing my place bet here.
Yeah, Keith is the real influencer here. So he's getting there. But let us know. Hey, drop in the chat how you are betting this particular race. Would love to hear the different strategies. Who do you have in Stableduel in this one? Let us know. We're going to do a Stableduel check-in after this race, see how everybody's stables are doing after that first race. And it is now post time at Assiniboia Downs. Always a fun time. And so let's turn the volume up here.
7-2 now on the 3. I kind of sent it more now.
There you go.
Next up, Temperature Way, the current 6-5 choice.
Temperature Way.
Very magic.
I love this announcer.
Kurt's the best. It's like, this is exactly what an announcer at Assiniboia Downs should sound like. It's like, he shouldn't probably be a Keeneland, but I like him at Assiniboia Downs.
I legitimately feel like we should play Mario Kart in between. Like, that's what the vibe.
Yeah, the music and the graphics. Yeah.
Now just waiting on Artisan Dancer.
All right, here we go.
DK the winner, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, here we go.
I hope Jessica's on this horse.
Oh, she's acting up a little bit.
Yep.
Temperature Way, a little fractious.
Nose forward. There we go.
And they're off.
Oh boy.
Ooh, my 3 got shuffled back.
From the inside, someone else shows some good early speed. Artisan Dancer.
I don't know why that's so funny.
On the outside, settle back in third. Temperature Way moving up after
the 3-1. Gosh darn it, Keith.
In fourth.
Yeah, now they're dueling up front.
Sea of Life and Saturday Service is the early.
Now the 3's kind of rushing up a little.
Oh wow, all the way from the back.
And Artisan Dancer, these two a length and a half up on Prairie Magic in third, fading back in fourth. Temperature Way making a move.
And they're going wide again. Somebody cut the freaking corner.
Oh, look at this 3.
Wow.
Finder stride 6.
Come on, here we go. Get the. Come on, Prairie Magic.
Oh. Trying to come up the rail a 16th of a mile to go.
Wow.
Inside speed. What did we talk about?
That's good.
Oh my gosh.
Between Temperature
Way
and Artisan.
That was
what was interesting? The Temperature Way, Kurt, the announcer, was saying is fading back to fourth, and then Temperature Way actually cut the corner perfect, and then I think came in second. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that was a head bob per second, one way or the other, between the 2 and the 6. And listen, what did I say the race before? If you cut the corner, you can save like 8 freaking lengths, and everybody else is going halfway out to freaking Alberta. And yeah, it's somebody's actually cutting the corner. It just kills me that they're doing.
I think anytime we talk about them going out, we have to bring a new part of Canada. So we're gonna have to like every single time it's got to be a new place in Canada. They're on the way to Ontario over there.
I know my Canadian geography, so I had multiple students from Canada back in the day, so one of whom actually I've told the story many times, but one of whom actually named Bolt Toro. So that was one of the reasons I like that horse a lot. El Hombre, you're here, my friend. The man is back. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Straight from Windsor, Ontario tonight, since we're talking about random cities in Canada.
Love it. Right across the border. Great strip clubs. Not that I know about that from a firsthand standpoint. So
also known as the Windsor Ballet.
Yes.
For those locals in Detroit.
Yeah. And it's where you get some good Labatt's. But there you go. Albert, how are you doing, man? Are you excited for this opening day at Assiniboia?
Absolutely. I'm tuned in. I've got my Stableduel team in. I did well right there. I think I got second and third. I did not have the winner, but I had second and third.
Who do you think got second? Oh gosh, darn it! The 2.
Did the 2 get second?
It's saying unofficial, but
okay. Well,
in fairness, the 1 paid 7-2. We
the 1 paid
really
decent.
short prices.
Yeah, we talked. Yeah,
could be worse.
So I had 3-6. Was that not in there? I mean,
1, 2, 6, 3. 3 apparently.
Oh, geez.
Yeah,
2
I got
and then just didn't have anything down the lane.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bad. Not looking great for Team Ombre on the.
It's early. It's early.
I didn't play here last year. You guys got a big advantage on me, which I will make sure that doesn't happen anymore. So I'm going to learn tonight from the best.
Bring you along.
And,
if that's the case, Dennis should be lights out in these games.
Oh,
so
Dennis.
Yeah. So
we know Dennis. We know Dennis's tendencies, and we tend to, never mind.
Dennis had the winner, I think. Yeah, race 1.
Dennis did have the winner in race number 1. And listen, everybody's got to let us know how you're doing in Stableduel. I know they only have the first race called, but what's going on after the first race? I will say, to Bree's point earlier, I use the exact same combination of horses in the first race. I'm in 24th place in the free ride. I'm in 4th place in the $25 game.
Wow.
So that is a much better place to be. So, but yeah, no, we'll keep it updated as we keep humming along here at Assiniboia Downs. Bree, I know you probably have to get going at some point here, but would appreciate you dropping in and hanging out. This was a lot of fun.
It will save me money so far if I leave, because both my race 1 and race 2 have missed. So
that just means you're more due. That just means you're more due now.
Yeah.
$9. Number 1 paid $9. Gosh,
that's a really good deal. That's a really good deal in the number 1.
Wow, 8 to 5 morning line too.
Yeah, that board got a little wonky there at the very end. Bree, we're going to give the ASD cap away here before race number 3. Okay.
Yep.
Or we're going to do the drawing.
Yeah, you let me know who the winner is, and they can DM Stableduel. If you're on Twitter or however you want to do it, just DM your address and I will get it sent. And if you DM your address and you're not a winner, I'm going to know, and you're going to get a shame.
Because I'm on it. I'm quality control here. So no, we will make sure. So Bree, thanks so much for hanging out. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Bree.
Good luck, guys. I'll tune in, and I'm sure I'll watch some more. But have a good time.
Check in for the chat. All right.
We need some swag to display here too. So
there you go. All
right. See you,
have a good night.
Bye. All right. Well, that was awesome. The Bree checked in with us for the first couple of races. Always nice. And now we got El Hombre checking in. We've got some other folks probably joining us a little bit later potentially, so this will be a lot of fun. But
great.
Yeah. So we we're through 2 races. There's only 7 on the card. We only got 5 more races to go. That's the beauty of that is the beauty of Assiniboia Downs, is we have some short races here coming up in race number 3. And that was officially a 1, 2, 3, 6 finish in the last race. This is a $10,000 optional claimer, and this is the long race on the card. 2 turns, 7 furlongs. This is going to be a big time race. And it was interesting, Keith. This one in particular, we talked about horses having to run into shape a little bit at Assiniboia. It was not lost on me that this race had a lot of horses that were coming in from other tracks that were already in pretty decent form, it seemed like, or already had a foundation, were coming in off super long layoffs or anything along those lines this time around. So,
yeah, this was the race I usually, like I was saying before, I like horses that, really run at Assiniboia and get used to the service. But this one, I just couldn't get past the explosive number 1. And this was the horse I was mentioning before that, comes out of much tougher races from Turfway and Keeneland and back to the dirt, from the first time in a while, but has dirt experience at Churchill. And the company alone that Explosive's been running on and just getting bet heavily right now. So I did use the 1 in Stableduel. So these are the decisions that you have to make, as 2 to 1 morning line. You could get a shorter favorite than that. So I thought 2 to 1 actually could be pretty good value for a Stableduel standpoint, if you really think this horse can win.
Well, to your point, right now, and we still have 16 minutes to post, but right now the number 1 horse is a 1-4 favorite in this race. So that is a massive shift from 2-1 morning line to a 1-4. Just to put that into like actual Stableduel numbers, that horse went from being worth $9,000 on the morning line. That horse would be worth about $18,000 right now if you were to try to purchase a 1-4 horse on Stableduel. So you're absolutely right that a 9-1 could end up being a huge bargain for this type of a horse in this spot. Certainly does look very good. I'll play devil's advocate a little bit with the 1. Has absolutely I mean, it's coming out of a $109,000 allowance race at Keeneland. I mean, come on. So it's absolutely the class of this field. My concern is I just don't know how good this horse is on the dirt. This is her horse that seems like much better on synthetic and turf than it is on dirt. You isolate those dirt speed figures and they're okay, but they're not 1-4. And so I was a little bit interested in the number 5 horse Magic Tiger. That was a horse that was at 3-1, and that's not great value on Stableduel. This is a horse that is 6 for 6 in the money on dirt. And I didn't love the morning line just because I knew this horse was going to float up. And indeed, this horse has floated up quite a bit. But if you isolate those dirt efforts, now they're at smaller tier tracks, but they really make sense. I mean, ran an 82 buyer speed figure last time out at Fresno in a 12-5 claimer and, won that race. And, 2 races prior to that in Sacramento was in another 12-5 claimer with a 72 speed figure, also won that race. So I just thought maybe that horse provided a little bit of value. And then we talked a little bit already about the number 7, Happy Camper. This is a horse that also is exiting some really good competition. 5 races ago, back in December, this horse ran against Verstappen, who is a grade 2 turf winner just recently. So, again, we talked about keeping company. And I thought at 10-1 in the morning line, here's a horse that has at least kept really great company. Maybe, you get a horse. I don't even need the win. Maybe just
and a great price right now. Yeah, 18-1 right now.
Yeah, even bigger price. So, El Hombre, you look like you're studying for the SATs down there. So, where are you going in race number 1 or race number 3, I should say?
Yeah, with all due respect, I landed in the same place Keith did. I'm on the 1. I mean, you kind of got to commit, like Keith said. That's kind of the beauty of, like, if you're playing the Stableduel route, you got to find 1 or 2 big favorites and commit, and then the rest of the way you kind of find some value, maybe find a bomb or 2 along the way, but you can really only afford 2. I kind of try to look at it as 2 or 3 favorites, or like big spends on the Stableduel out of your 10. 2 or 3 big spends, 3 or 4 or 5 in the middle pack, like around 5, 6-1 type horses, and then you got 2 or 3 bombs underneath. So this was one of the commitments I made to on one of the favorites, was the 1. Which, if you haven't noticed, the first 2 races were both won by horse number 1 who got out to the early lead on the rail.
Wow, good point. Yeah,
not that you can make those adjustments in Stableduel right now, but you can in actual bets if you're playing TVG, Twin Spires, wherever you're playing outside of here.
Yep.
But yeah, and Mel thought, yes, I'm alive, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
We will address this. I've got a little fun piece coming up later in the week where I will address the mage drama.
Bet of the century. Yeah.
By the way, it's not a dead pet alarm, but I will say our boy Todd here said that Happy Campers was his band's name in high school.
That is cool. Dangerously close to a dead pet alarm.
Yeah, dangerous, but it's not, and that's a pretty cool story, actually. So I like that.
That
Todd,
could go either way, Matt. To be honest, it could.
Yeah.
It could have went. You could have just dropped the dead pet alarm, and none of us would have thought anything different.
I could have. I'm always more generous on that than you are. To be fair,
it's playing around here somewhere.
Yeah. So, Joe. Listen. No, Joe's right there with you and Keith. I mean, he singled the number 1 on horizontals. He's just sticking with explosive. I mean, I think that it makes a ton of sense. If you're playing horizontally, I think you got to, single the 1 here. Makes a ton of sense. No arguments there.
And by the way, Joe is a long lost brother of famous Hollywood actor Chaz Palminteri. If you haven't noticed that, just a legend out there. One
Chaz is awesome.
One of the stars of my favorite movie of all time, The Usual Suspects.
Usual Suspects.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'll also say a great was also great in A Bronx Tale. That was a fantastic movie. So this is what happens when Bree leaves. We start talking about like movies, and so Bree's always keeping us on track. But listen, the currently we got 10 minutes to post. Explosive is your favorite, even money odds. And you see the number 5 Magic Tiger at 9-2. Bottle of Smoke, the number 2 horse we've not talked about yet. But for those really strong connections of Jared Brown and Jorge Carreno, that at 4-1. And then you have horses that are a little bit higher, number 3 at 8-1. G's Turn, a horse that I've seen. I swear I've seen this horse run 15 times. The number 4 horse at 12-1. CC's Kitten at 10-1, and Happy Camper at 19-1. So I think listen, I'm not saying Happy Camper is going to win this race, but I think that's a valuable horse to use underneath if you're doing a vertical. I mean, the horse is keeping really good company, and might be a cut below the sort of company that the number 1 has been keeping, but I mean has been running on those same kind of circuits of and is capable of going long and does well going long. So I think that horse maybe makes a little bit of sense if you're doing the key box or something like that. So
yeah, in Stableduel I actually used obviously I used the 1, and then I did use Bottle of Smoke too, actually. Just
okay, talk about it a little bit then.
Yeah, just the connections that you mentioned. I mean, these connections were running the show last year. Well, I think they were the leading trainer. Let's see, we got I mean, just the combination alone, and then they claimed this horse out of Turf Paradise, just running great. These running lines, I just like how just let me see what I wrote here. Could just show speed and doesn't need the lead in particular, and then I like how they Bottle of Smoke has a nice work on May 13th. Yeah, it just looked like a nice work to me. So I just think, and the public sees it too. It's floating up now to 9-2, but I just thought from a Stableduel standpoint, 8-1, I did use the horse.
Yeah. No, very good. Let us know how you guys are doing in Stableduel right now at the wire. Listen, he's this is the first time playing. He's 107th right now. Hey, man, that's not a bad. There's 200 plus. There's 230 plus people in there. So you're above the Mendoza line. You're above halfway. That's pretty good first time out. I think I finished like third to last the first time I tried to do this. I was miserable. So
I'm 85th, but I've also used 4 horses already. So
okay. All right.
Are you in the free ride or?
Yeah.
Right, cool.
So we got the consultant in here. He likes the value on G's Turn. He's going to use this in wheels. So that's he's going to look a little bit at G's Turn there. We got Mitchell Hager 199th. But hey, man, it's a long night. We still got 5 more races.
Right behind you.
Yeah. So there you go. That's great. Love to see it. And Trusty's 109th right now. 109th got off the first last race. Got off the one, you should say, in the last race. Yeah.
Matt, I should add real quick. Speaking of the live streams that we've done in the last few weeks, the Kentucky Derby and Oaks weekend where you had the marathons.
Yeah.
We had an absolute star born that weekend. If you remember, Mr. Automatic in the comments.
We did.
Absolute star was born. Just made wild proclamations, wild statements. We had a lot of fun with him. I saw him in the comments today. He's back.
Oh, is he back?
Oh, cool.
I saw him in the comments today for the first time. Mr. Automatic, if you're out there listening, please check in. We miss you, buddy.
Oh, Mr. Automatic.
We'll find the comments.
That guy really became a living legend off like 3 comments.
Hall of Fame already. One or 2 live streams. He's a Hall of Famer.
I loved it.
That's awesome.
I
totally. I saw you guys streaming and everything, but I was there live, so I just totally. It was like a blur for me. Those 2
Oh, I can only imagine. Yeah, absolutely.
It was amazing,
absolutely. All right, so. Listen, I know I said we're going to do the winner. If you pick the winner of the 3rd race, we're going to do the winner of the 4th race. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do the winner of the 4th race gets the Assiniboia Downs, because this feels a little too much like a layup potentially with the number 1.
Yeah,
so we're going to do the winner of the 4th race. do winner of the 4th race. So even if you're just stick with us for another race at least or so. And then once you stick with us through the 4th race, we're over halfway through the card. So at that point, you might as well just stick around till the end. But
I like it.
Like I said, we'll do the drawing after the 4th race. You got to pick the winner of race number 4. And then we'll hook you up with, like Bree said, we're going to hook you up with that white Assiniboia Downs cap that Keith is showing off in the camera. This is going to be, like I said, a lot of fun. And that's the one thing we're always going to have. If we end up doing these more often, we have to wait and see if that's going to happen. But if we do these more often, look for more types of giveaways, lots of fun and prizes and things like that with the Assiniboia Downs. So we're always having fun. So stick around a little bit longer for us in this one. But we got what do we got? We got 5 minutes to post here.
Yeah.
And explosive 1-2 now on the morning line. And I saw a couple of people in the the chat talking about G's turn, obviously, and this is a horse that I remember going back to those Sammy Houston days that I was running playing in some contests there, and did run some nice efforts back then, and Lone Star as well. Actually, I remember that June 19th 2022 race that he won at Lone Star. So he has some nice races back there, and has been in some good barns, J.R. Caldwell's barn in particular. So and now is in Jerry Gonro's barn, very good barn as well. So G's turn was 5-1 on the morning line, is floated up and is now 16-1. So you're certainly getting a big price there. So a couple of people mentioned CC's Kitten as well as potential long shot.
If I can interject for a minute, I think that the chat seems to be on every single horse. I mean, we thought it looked like it might be a layup for the one horse. The chat seems to disagree, which is great. This is what we're here for. We want to see people's opinions, and then do a little what do you call it, a walk-off home run when you get it right.
Hey, if you get it right, you can flex all you want. I mean, my concern with the 1 is, or the 6, I should say, is, the only 2 efforts on dirt have been sprinting and doing 1 turn, and they haven't exactly been stellar efforts. And then now the horse does seem to be a little bit better stretched out, or has had at least some success stretching out, but that was on synthetic. And again, I just don't know where those dirt figures are going to be. I mean, I should say there are 3 dirt figures in this horse's history. It's recorded, and I should say he recorded a 7 buyer speed figure, a 39, and a 31. That doesn't give me a ton of confidence that this horse is going to take to the dirt at Assiniboia, but maybe, you never know. You never know. That was also at Hawthorne, Churchill Downs, and Tampa Bay Downs. So that was certainly against higher level competition, no doubt about it. So we'll end up seeing, but does
got a celebrity checking in here, Matt? Was Sarah?
Oh, who's checking in?
Sarah Elbadwi checking in.
Oh,
she likes the 7 in race 4, but she's not going to stay up for it. She's a little tired.
All right. Well, listen, Sarah's been working hard.
What do you want?
She has been on America's Day at the Races every single day this weekend with Maggie Wolfendale. Awesome for her to check in. And you're right, celebrity, like major national celebrity checking in on the live stream. So appreciate that. And we will log your 7 as a potential entry for the giveaway there to get that Assiniboia Downs cap. And we're getting close to post time, 2 minutes to post time. Always exciting. We get to, again, hear the races getting called, and the horses are, making they're on the track, galloping around. El Hombre,
they stick to the post times. It's great.
Yeah, they're sticking to the post times pretty good.
Incredible.
Yeah, especially opening night. Sometimes you would say maybe they would, maybe drag a little bit, but to get things going. But yeah, no, it's not like other tracks we've had one track in the past we've had. So
big shout out to Assiniboia Downs for allowing us to stream this live on our show here, which was part of what we talked to them the other day. Talked about doing the live show, and they were all for it. They allowed us to do this with with audio and all, which is obviously it adds a lot to the ability for all of us to kind of watch it as a group and not have to stream it from your phone on a 10-second delay compared to the next guy or girl who's watching it on a different stream, and it's just a mess. Now we can all kind of watch it together, so it makes it a little more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So no, this is a lot more fun to be able to do it this way. And they got about 3 minutes to post according to the track feed. So just a couple minutes back, but not too bad. Certainly for this. So and listen, John's a smart man in that he is saying, listen, if Sarah likes the 7 in the next race, I'm putting everything on the 7. That's probably not a bad idea. And so I
have some news is that 7's my pick too, actually.
Oh, all right, there you go.
So that's good company right there.
Well, let's not. Yeah, we'll get to that race momentarily, but we are
0 minutes to post.
There you go. So
I don't know what you're talking about right at the wire. Am I working with Canterbury? I don't know. You gotta let me in on that. That's news to me if I am.
Yeah,
I don't know what that means.
That'd be awesome. Ellenberg, you're working with Canterbury? That's great. So,
I'm all for making partnerships. All good.
Yeah, we know. By the way, shout out to guest of Trust the Profits, Angela Herman, who's been on a couple of our shows before. She's up at Canterbury and doing a great job. They're going to be kicking off shortly with their season as well. I'm actually going to make my way up there this summer, potentially 4th of July weekend, because 2 very good friends of mine just recently moved from Washington, D.C. to St. Paul, Minnesota, and I managed to get my buddy's girlfriend hooked on horse racing. And she's like, I like this sport. And I'm like, fantastic. You're one of 6 people who are new to this sport that we're hooking in. And so this is great. And so
if we can build it one person at a time, we're doing our job.
Hey man, we got to do something exactly now. No, it reminds me of when honestly, when I was a faculty member, it was like, you just got to save that one student. It's like, you just got to get that one fan. Like you just got to get, everybody in there. So
and that makes a difference though. Yeah,
it does. And so she's all excited about that. So I'm going to head up to Canterbury and take them out to the track. And so that should be a lot of fun, but let's pump up the jam here. And
we got the picks here.
Yep. So
huge shout out to the 68 plus watching on YouTube, not counting Twitter, Facebook, all the other feeds going on. So 73 plus people now.
Yeah. Just awesome. Thank you so much.
Subscribe to the channel, do all those good things, comment, retweet all the stuff that you guys hear about.
Thank you. Yeah.
It just means a little bit, it just helps a little bit when you hit those type of buttons. So thank you everybody for tuning in. It's awesome. It's the first week of Monday Night Lights. Hopefully we can run this back time and time again if everybody's enjoying it. So we'll try to make that happen.
Absolutely. So now they are still got 3 minutes to post because we got the kickoff of the pick 5. What I will say is this is but they're making their way to the gate, it looks like, and it's going to be kicking off the pick 5. It does look I don't know about you, but I don't want to look too far ahead. But there was a horse in race number 6, Olive's Candy, that I thought was like an obvious single. And that was in like one of the maiden special weight races. And I really like that horse in race number 6. So if you're playing a pick 5, that might be a horse to consider singling. It sounds like potentially you can single here with the number 1, depending on your point of view. I think a lot of us like the number 1 here quite a bit as well. And what I'll say is the last race in particular, spread, because I don't have any opinion on that last race. That last race feels super wide open. So, Keith, I don't know about you in terms of Stableduel. That one, I did not have a good feel for that last one.
Yeah, that last one, I actually am familiar with one horse just from previous circuit at Turf Paradise. So,
okay.
I mean, I took a shot with the 7 there, Margot's girl.
Yeah.
I just know that this horse is just going to give a game effort in a wide open race and, just a lot of in the money finishes. So I just figure hopefully I could just get some positive points there I'm in the free ride, but, just to kind of end the night on a good note.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, it's always good to end the night. It's always good to see whatever your standing was, jump up a little bit after that last race. Even if you don't end up in the money, you go from, earlier today, I was in 21st at Horseshoe. That last race moved me up to 17th. It just feels a little bit better, that last time moving up a little bit. So always good to do that. And I see a lot of other people in the chat liking Olive's Candy as well in race number 6. We'll get to that one a little bit later, but they're making their way to the gate for race number 3 here, going 7 furlongs, which this is the only 2-turn race on the card tonight. This is the longest race. This is the only non-5 furlong race on the card. $10,000 optional claimer. And like I said, this one is featuring a lot of horses that are coming in from other tracks: Turf Paradise, Keeneland, Turfway Park, from all over.
We got Hawthorne,
from Hawthorne. And I'm just scrolling through the PPs. It does G's Turn, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I want to double check and make sure, but I think G's Turn is the only horse with experience over the Assiniboia track. It does have 2 career races at Assiniboia with a 2nd place finish. So certainly something to consider. And coming in from all over. Let us know in the chat, how are you betting this race? Let us know, how are you attacking this one? El Hombre, to your point earlier, everybody seemed to be on a different horse other than the 1, even though we all seem to think the 1 looks pretty logical. I do like the 5 a little bit and the 7 underneath as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this one turns out as they're loading them into the gate.
This one's getting crushed late too. Yeah.
So let's turn
Drop
up the volume
your
here.
Stableduel names, stable names into the chat too, so we can follow who's doing well in the both the 25-hour game and the freebie.
Yep.
If you're doing well, brag it up. Let's talk.
Yeah, man.
I'm like 85th or whatever I said after the first 2.
Oh, good.
I don't know where everybody else is at, but that's not a brag, by the way. I'm saying brag if you're doing well. I wouldn't call that well. I'm alive. I wouldn't
I need to hit the exacta here to get things going.
Yeah. All right, Timmy Hughes is the one with the 2-7.
Yep.
I'm assuming that's an exacta. Lonnie Garfield Jr. going 5-2-3 try. I don't know if that's a box line. Good luck to you guys both.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see what we got.
Let's go, baby.
Let's do it.
And they're off.
All right.
They're out of the gate.
Good start.
Wow, got a good crowd
Inside
there
speed.
tonight.
Explosive.
Some early speed, and we'll grab the lead early by a half a length to the outside short rib. Breathing down his neck, 3 wide.
21 to 1 piece out there.
2 more back. That's going to be Bottle of Smoke. Right behind him, you have G's Turn. Another length to Happy Camper, and the early trailer will be Magic Tiger. 25, 29.
Oh, kind of walking on the front.
Yeah, it's not, even for Assiniboia, that's not fast.
It's looking pretty good for the 1.
Yep.
Here comes Mike too. Also.
Yeah, inside speed or inside post position in routing races was an absolute cheat code last year at Assiniboia in routing races.
Here we go.
Oh, they're making some moves though. I mean, they're
got some clear sailing.
Let's see if anybody can cut the corner.
2 going hard on the outside.
Let's hit this exacta. Yeah.
That's Magic Tiger.
All right, we cut it better. We cut it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it just looks like you have to bet the 1 horse every race.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, here comes my 5.
Here comes my 5.
That 5, baby.
Man.
5's
Here comes my 5.
Boom,
baby. That was my pick on Stableduel.
5 over the 1. There you go.
5 over 1.
Set up perfectly. Wow.
To Bottle of Smoke.
Man.
What was 5's odds there?
5, I think, was looking back
7 to 2.
7 to 2, yeah.
Okay, so that was probably the second choice. Nice.
It was second choice.
Work.
Second choice on the line. Yeah. So
there we go. And we will definitely be pulling up the standings after this one. Congrats to anybody who had that 5.
Yep. Well, thank you, Ellen Bray. I appreciate that.
By the way, we're creeping up. We're getting close. Let's hit the. Why not have 100 people in the chat? I mean, there's.
Let's get there. We got 85. We got 85 in the chat
alone. That doesn't even count all the other.
I just keeps growing and growing.
Let's get it to 100. Let's show Assiniboia Downs that we're going to move the needle.
Yep, absolutely. We got 85 people in the chat.
Hyping the channel. Hyping the show.
Absolutely.
Biggest show in town tonight is Assiniboia Downs. It's going to be every Monday night, folks.
Every Monday night.
That's it.
And guess
Monday
what? When it gets to football season, guess what? Tuesday nights. And what are you doing Tuesday? Nothing.
Yeah.
And so you're going to play Assiniboia. It's a fun track. You get to follow all these horses. I love it. That was a race, man. I thought for sure, to your guys' point, I mean, I thought the 1 had it. I mean, I thought the one was just
yeah,
like coming off the turn. I was like,
over.
I mean, I would have bet a ton of money that the one was going to win, and then just just kind of tired late. I thought the one still ran a good race, but as the favorite, you got to get it done there. Yep.
Yeah. No, and the one ran I actually think the one ran maybe a little bit better than I was even expecting. I just that 5, like I said, the dirt form is there. And it's coming out of Golden Gate, not a bad division to be coming out of, and faced a bunch of the next out winners 2 of the last 3 times out. So it's been running against some decent horses. And again, if you just sift through the dirt form, and that can be tricky sometimes to kind of do that sort of thing, but it was there. So that was that was a good one. So I had that one in the stable, so that was good.
Oh yeah, you're doing good.
We're happy there. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Still 4 races
we know
left.
this game. We've seen this before.
We've all been there before. After like 3 races, we're in first place, and we're like counting our money ahead of time, and then all of a sudden it's just like 3 straight negative 30s, and you're like, I'm gonna lose everything. So so we will see. But this is fun. So let's turn the page from enough of these 2-turn races and 25 opening second opening quarter miles to let's get back to the sprints. And we got a $10,000 claimer going 5 furlongs coming up in the 4th race. We got post time coming up here, and what's funny is I didn't look ahead when you guys were talking about the 4th race at all. I was not looking ahead. I am also on the 7 as my top choice in the 4th race. So
I'll try to be contrarian if I can, but I got to look first.
Okay.
I do say I like the 1 quite a bit as well, but the 7-1 are my top 2 choices in this one.
Yeah, I got the same exact order. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, those I think are the 2 logical ones. They'll probably end up being the 2 favorites. I mean, the 6 I know is also 3-1. It might take some money. But
I took the 3 in the next race just as a little bit of a spread, not expecting the 3 to necessarily win, but to hopefully pay 5-1. I believe was the morning line on the 3.
Yep.
So just trying to outscore his odds here, outrun the odds.
Right.
Yep. Absolutely. Now it makes sense too. I mean, you got a super hot trainer in terms of Jared Brown. Now I know he's 1 for 41 on the year, but at Assiniboia, he's dynamite. And so that's just, you just got to, I mean, again, that's one, if you just remember from last year, he's a guy who was winning at a 30% clip last year. So, there's a lot to like there from that standpoint. Whitehall's a nice jockey. And, it is interesting. So Brown, the trainer, does have 2 horses in this race. He has the 1 and the 3. I think a lot of people would say his top choice jockey is Carreno, who's on the number 1. So I think that was also something to like, okay, that's probably his 1A horse. And then the 3 might be a little bit of a 1B. But to El Hombre's point, you got to find value somewhere. And 5-1, you're getting a little bit of value on that number 3. And the 3 is actually 5 for 8 in the money, at Assiniboia Downs. So has some success hitting the board, getting those positive points that we talked about on Stableduel. So definitely like to see that. But let us know in the chat. Drop it in.
Great.
What's your pick to win in race number 4? And this is all dependent on if you pick the winner in race number 4, your name goes into the automatic random wheel generator, and we're going to end up picking who gets that free Assiniboia Downs cap that Keith is wearing tonight.
This exact hat?
That exact hat. We're going
have the random
out.
Wow. All I need to do is just sign it now on the outside.
Do you need some help with the random wheel generator, or do you have that in the background already?
No, you should probably pull up the random wheel generator.
All right.
You should do.
You go for that.
Okay, good.
We got time for that because we gotta wait until the race is over.
That's why I brought it up now.
Time. Yeah.
You know Dennis is going to win this.
All right. So we got Simon.
Well, you have to pick the right horse first, though.
All right. Keith, I'm putting you on keeping track of the the names and numbers here. So Simon is on the number 1. All right. So Simon O'Neill is on number 1. We got Malathat 74 on the number 4. Samer is on the 7. And he's also giving out the exacta. Samer listed. If the exacta hits, maybe we think we find a price for you. And Mitchell is also on the 7. And Sean is on the number 3. He's with UL Hombre on E2 Babu. We got a bunch. Todd and Bill Derby are also on the number 3. And then Ryan Beggsy's on the number 1.
How are we going to do this? How are we going to do if multiple people win, though?
That's why you put all the we wait until to see who wins.
Okay.
And then there's going to be multiple people probably who pick the horse. You put those names in the wheel generator, and then the whoever it lands on.
Gotcha.
So just because you win the race doesn't mean you necessarily win the hat.
You act like I'm smart, Matt. I'm not that smart.
I know you're a lot smarter than.
That's a good system.
Come on. So we gotta, we'll have this. We'll play this out. So let's see. Our own. Listen. When Sean speaks, the line moves. And so Sean is on the number 6 here in this one coming in from Turf Paradise. So that is Sean's pick here. Kevin Haro is on the 3. And we got Charles. His pick is the 7 as well in race number 4. So we got a lot of people. We got Joe, Chaz's brother, commentary on the number 1. And David Coleman it just thinks the 7 is too tough here, and he's going with the 7 in there. And so that's where he's going to be headed in race number 4. But listen, let's talk about, let's see if I don't know if our stable duels are updated yet. So let's just check in on that.
Take a look.
No, not you. I think they're still in from the second race. So we shall see. But let's talk a little bit about race number 4 here, going, like I said, 5 furlongs. And Keith, what was it that you liked about the 7?
I just see just a really big early pace advantage for the 7. I know that tonight you want to be the last few races, you want to be inside in speed, but I don't mind the 7 post in this race. I really just think that Chow's just gonna full send on Miss Lane Skip here, and I just have a gate to wire. I mean, I know that a lot of these horses are just building stamina, and this horse exclusively in the last year, other than Woodbine earlier last year, has been at Assiniboia. But you just see very close to finishing the job here at 6 furlongs. So you're just cutting back now, and I just think it's fresh, just gonna fire. And then I have your number 1 actually as my second pick, and then I thought the 6 Sean's pick, the number 6 Irish Knight, is actually the only horse with experience at 5 furlongs in this entire race. Thought it was interesting. So a first and a second. So I know it was a 3-1 morning line for Irish Knight, which is pretty tough for stable duel purposes, but. I really just clearly like the 7. I'm not a huge gate to wire handicapper all the time, but I just saw such a big pace advantage here that I couldn't ignore.
Yeah, and one of the things I will point out, this is a horse that if you go back and look at those PPs, this horse had a layoff from November of 2021 till May of 2022. So I had a 6-month layoff. What did the horse do off of that 6-month layoff? Broke its maiden. So this horse can win off a long layoff and has demonstrated the ability to do that before. That I think is fantastic to see. And then listen, I think you got to look at some of those races last year at Assiniboia going 6. Now to your point, they're going 5. I actually like that for a horse that has a lot of front end speed, that they don't have that extra furlong to contend with going a little bit longer. So now it makes a lot of sense. I think the number 1 was a horse I just think from a speed figure standpoint looked, pretty tough coming out of Turf Paradise, and, won its last race, which was claiming 4,500. Now is stepping up into an N3L. That is sometimes usually that can be something I try to play against sometimes when a horse steps up to a new level in that claiming circuit from like an N1 to an N2 to an N3 sort of a thing. So that is a little bit of a concern, I think, there on the 1. But I think the speed figures definitely make sense. And this was a horse that was running in Los Alamitos, Santa Anita Del Mar, granted in maiden claimers, and really holding its own out there against some, halfway decent horses that we've seen run on that West Coast circuit. So, and again, Brown, getting the barn transfer, has his number 1 jock up here. So, I think that certainly makes a lot of sense. And, I think you can make an argument for a few horses in this race, maybe underneath as well. I think the 4 kind of is a little hard for me to get to. Just again, that dirt form doesn't look that great. And the number 5, I think, is coming off a layoff as well and hasn't really shown much since going back to a $5,000 claimer last year at Assiniboia in July. But it's important to point out this horse has won off the layoff before, but also kind of runs into shape a little bit. It looks like a lot of her best races came middle of the season, towards the end of the season at Assiniboia. So that was something to take into consideration. So, Elombre, are you keeping track of the chat and making sure everybody's, where we got our picks here?
Yeah. I thought Keith was assigned to that.
All right. Well, Keith was assigned to that, but all right.
We might failed the exam. Yeah.
All right. Well, we got to go back a little bit.
I'll go back. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
All right. Cool.
If you go back to Kevin Harrow, I think on the 3 all the way, that was the last one. I think that or maybe Joe Palmentary with the 1. So we haven't had too many more get entered there, but
Simon O'Neill was the first entry, I believe, right?
Was that
Simon O'Neill with the 1 horse was the first?
That is
first
correct.
comment.
That is correct. That was the very first
from
one.
there. You can keep track from there, bud.
All right. So we got what do we got? We got got a few minutes here until race number 4 kicks off. 11 minutes to post until race number 4. They're walking them around the paddock right now, and currently your favorite is your morning line favorite, the number 7 Miss Langship, but it's staying steady at that morning line price. Is 2-1. Armavir, the number 1 horse, is at 9-2. Irish Knights at 4-1. The horse that's really taken a huge drop is the 4. Shirley Sherman has dropped from 8-1 morning line to 5-2. So that is a huge drop in the between the morning line and the post time odds. The number 3 has stayed consistent at 5-1, and then the number 5 is your biggest shot on the board. Was 25-1 morning line. I thought that was a little high. It's currently 9-1 now. I think in a smaller field, you're just going to see those prices get bet down. Listen, if Coffee with Chris goes off at 9-1 in the Preakness, this horse has every right to go off at 9-1 in this race for sure. So this is, like I said, a lot of fun. So Charles, excited. Good luck with the pick 5 ticket. Glad you're live, my friend. This is what we like to see. Love it. Bill, the public is loving this 4, and let's talk about this 4 a little bit, because I kind of dismissed this 4. I don't know. I mean, you're coming out of Mahoney
Jonathan
Valley.
Longhorse. Yeah.
It was a Jonathan Longhorse coming out of Mahoney Valley and Turf Paradise. I mean, those 2
there was probably promise for this horse at one point. It's just that I just didn't like the recent form at all. And then first start at Assiniboia. I just I could see the public looking back at those other races at Turfway Park, but I couldn't. I just wasn't willing to gamble the reverse of form back to form now at Assiniboia.
Yeah, I hear you on that, and I think that with this 4, maybe you also make a look at this form. This horse is just in decent condition right now, is act as opposed to the 7 who's coming off that long layoff. And so maybe you want to play against the long layoff and you're looking for a horse that's at least, has races under his belt. I know something that you talked about, Keith, in terms of looking at horses with a little bit of experience coming into this one. So, the public's certainly going all in on the 4. And Vladimir here is sharing this. The trainer's 50% shipper. So shipping in is winning at a 50% clip. So that certainly is an angle that could be quite profitable, although not nearly as profitable anymore because this horse is getting bet down so much. So we'll see what this number 4 Shirley's Sherman ends up going off at. But 7-2 right now. So the odds changed a little bit here. Miss Langship currently 6-5 with Shirley Sherman as the second choice at 7-2. Listen, the Stableduel scores have updated. So drop that Stableduel name in the chat. Let us know your position. In the name of transparency, I will say I'm up to 26th in the free game.
Wow.
and I got 170 points. I've already used 5 horses though, so there's that. And so I'm at 170. We got C-Res 17 winning right now with 248 points, and they've used 7 horses. So that's something to keep in mind. Sometimes when you're playing Stable Duel, if you see somebody in the lead by a huge margin, and you go, "Oh my God, how do they have that many points?" They probably used a lot more horses than you have by that point. So don't worry about that. You'll catch up to them at some point. It's like in the last race, Explosive getting that big lead, and the 5 coming charging late. You can track them down. So, 26th there. But to Bree's point earlier, I'm sitting on a 5th place effort right now in the $25 game. So, that could end up being a little bit more profitable there in there. So, Sean, you are there you are. I see you 17th in the $25 game. Great to see people playing both.
Several people in the chat playing in the games. It's great to see it. That's good participation.
Definitely
love to see it. Keith, each and every stride on Stable Duel, right? I know you brought.
Yeah, you'll find me as a bottom dweller right now, but I'm 165 in the free ride. Yeah,
I'm 80th in the free ride, but again, I think I've used half of my stable already too, so not looking great, folks. But hey, Dennis Trusty 99th. He's used 4.
99th, over halfway, and not used that many horses, so that's good.
Hard
spun 77 right at the wire.
Which is a cool feature on Stable Duel is you could follow stables too, like so you could follow like your friends, and you can even see which horses they pick, and it's very interacting for the common or even a new horse player too.
And if you're playing for the first time, the way you follow is you just press that little green button right next to the person's name, and once you follow, it turns blue with a blue little check mark. And so if you press that just green little icon next to the person's name, that's how you can follow somebody on Stable Duel. Keith, each and every stride, got to follow. I'm Tupaloop, currently 26th in the free ride. And there's a lot of great people to follow in there. Obviously, no need to call it as one of the best Stable Duel players out there. M. Domabel, another great Stable Duel player as well. So those guys, always good to see their stables, what they're thinking, what their logic is sometimes. And as you get into Stable Duel more, I know a few of you are playing for the first time tonight, you get into the logic behind Stable Duel. Why am I using this horse? Why am I maybe zigging when other people are zagging? Do you go with the flow? Do you go against the flow in some instances? Yes, maybe there's a really obvious winner, but do you want to spend $12,000 on one horse? Like, there's a lot of logic that goes into this when you start dissecting things a little bit more, but a lot of fun, and it's a different way to approach playing the ponies. So love the game, and like I said, a lot of fun to approach it in a slightly different way. But we are approaching.
Yeah.
Speaking of approaching, we're approaching post time. We got 4 minutes to post, and they're out on the track. And so we got $25,000 in the guaranteed pick 4 pool as well for Assiniboia. So that's great. So if you were out in the first, come on back. If you're singled that 1, you can come on back here and run it back in the pick 4 at Assiniboia. Let us know how you're betting this race straight up. Let us know how you're approaching this one. And remember, if you let us know who you think is going to win race number 4, then we can enter your name. If your horse wins, we'll enter your name in the random wheel generator, and you have the opportunity to win that very spiffy Assiniboia Downs cap that Keith was just showing off. So
and we're gonna run that wheel generator right after this race, because I've got to actually punch off of here soon. I'm gonna stick around for race 4 and the wheel generator. I want to see who gets the win, the big win.
Yeah, man.
Guess what? By the way, nobody's on the 2 or the 5. If anybody out there wants a free ride, if the 2 or the 5 gets home, if you want to claim one of those 2 as your horse to get that free hat, you can look as good as Keith up there in the top right corner of your screen with that Assiniboia Downs hat. I'm jealous.
I think this 2 might be scratched. Let's see. Yeah.
Right now we have.
Oh, really?
The one horse has about.
Yes.
Is he scratched? My bad.
Yeah, the 5's in.
Scratched, but the 5 is the 5 is in. The 5 is in though. 5 is live.
So we have like 6 or 7 people on the 1. Yeah, go ahead and play the 2 if you want. Probably not going to be a very good option.
I mean, you'll get a refund back if you do a win bet.
We have 4 people on the 3, 4 people on the 4, only 1 person on the 6, and we have 3 people on the 7. So Also got to play your odds on that Wheel of Fortune generator that's coming up.
Yeah.
Right after this race, 5 horse wide open if anybody likes the 5. Yes, the 5 sucks, Todd. We get it.
Yeah. But might be a good
hey, you could win the whole pot if 5 wins.
By the way, we got to give a shout out. Ellembry, this was before you logged on. Paul is watching us live from Ireland.
Wow.
And it
Paul's been in the cocktail lounge a few times from Ireland.
And it
Thursday.
is like 3 a.m. over there. And he's just crushing Assiniboia Downs and watching the NBA playoffs in the background. Love it. Yeah. We got Tom. You got to make sure you get Tom there.
We'll get him in.
Get Tom there on the 3. And make sure you got Paul in on the 4 as well. So we got those picks coming in.
Yeah.
So we got
the Smiling Tiger horse won the last race, Magic Tiger, and then the one sire in this race is Smiling Tigers. I don't know, maybe you got a little connection there.
Smiling Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah, Smiling Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It sounded a little bit like the dead pet alarm, though.
Sorry, guys, I've confused a lot of people on the 2. Yes, the 2 is indeed scratched. I was,
Ellembry was just looking at who was being picked and who was not being picked, and so he just made the observation nobody picked the 2. And congratulations. That is very wise not to select
not
the
perfect,
2.
But
by the way, Greg is on the 1. We do have that. And Cindy plays the horses, who has made it. This is her 41st opening day at Assiniboia Downs.
Absolutely.
So that's awesome. And so Cindy is on that 4 as well. And so love to see all of this. So Todd, though, even though he doesn't like the 5, going to do a place bet on him. So that's cover all bases.
There you go.
So absolute legend checking in, Tom from Tom and Tom Racing.
Oh, nice.
Do we ever sleep? That's why there's a few of us. We take turns. That's the key. So that at no given time, we're never all of us asleep all the time. One of us is always awake doing content. So
big announcement coming. Tom and Tom actually doing a live autograph session one of these nights here in either the Cocktail Lounge or on Monday nights. We'll have Tom on and he'll sign. Just throw your name out, how you want to be addressed. He will do a live autograph session. And it's all free. Tom's a good guy. He give your kids a little taste of celebrity. Tom and Tom, a legend of the game.
Absolute legend. Yeah. And we are going to add the stream here as we have 0 minutes to post coming up. So excited for race number 4 here to kick off. And we got 0 minutes to post. They're getting ready. And the pick 4 pool is growing quite a bit. And your morning line favorite is still your post time favorite. The number 7, Miss Langship at 3-2. The 6 now has moved up into second choice at 5-2, followed by that 4, based off that huge 50%, shipper angle that Vladimir shared with us. That horse is at 4-1 right now. The number 1 is at 5-1, and the 3 is at 6-1. So this is, and then the 5 is, of course, the biggest price on the board at 21-1. But they are making their way to the starting gate for this 5 furlong sprint, and this is going to be a good one. So let us know how you're betting this one in the chat. Ellembry, how are you betting this one? Keith, how are you betting this one? Are you how are you approaching this? Are you just going straight up on the 7, or what are we doing?
I might back it up with like an exacta key box. I know Ellembry kind of grew me on that bet a little bit, so I'm thinking about maybe an exacta key box of 7 over. I'll do 7 over 146. That's gonna be my exact.
All right, box. I like that. I
kind of like the 3 just based on the value of the horse here. Jockey trainer combo is really good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, this was a race that I picked out the 3 based more on value than I thought, like win percentage or probability. It was more of a value play, but I mean, the way this race is outside of the 7, it's pretty evenly spread betting. So yeah, I like the 3, not necessarily to win, but should be involved.
Yeah. And yeah, Sarah, great point that the 3 is the favorite in the pick 3 pool, and is 6-1 right now as a straight win bet. So yeah, that seems to be something is misaligned there a little bit. So we're gonna have to see how that ends up playing out. But obviously, a lot of people on the 7 there, and 6-5 now, 7-5 on the post time odds. They are getting ready to load them into the gate here in race number 4 at Assiniboia Downs opening night. It's now post time, baby. Here we go.
Do it.
Tired of waiting. Let's go. This ain't Chucktown, baby. We are actually gating up. We are going to be ready to rock.
Yeah, post time. We're going to be going in the gate. Yeah.
Professional display by the folks at Assiniboia Downs on opening night. Love to see it.
The first into the starting gate.
So yeah, it's going to be an interesting race. I mean, I really think the 7's just going to send from the outside and just see if it can go all the way.
Yeah,
you need to, because the rail's been dominant.
Rail has been.
Just 2 left to load.
All right.
They're loading quick.
Irish Knight.
Good luck. This is for the hat here too.
This is for the hat. Exactly. This is for the hat. This is for the bragging rights. The hat is on the line.
Good luck, everybody.
More valuable than the bets, I guess.
She's in. They're at the post.
All right.
And they're off.
Yep, the 7's just gunned it.
Boom, quarter horsed it.
To grab the early lead by 2.
Oh my God, the 3 got hammered at the end. That's the CAWs.
Yep. Wow. Look at that. Yeah, 8-5 down from 6-1. Like 2 minutes. Incredible.
Moving up, Armavir and the early trailer
this...
in the stars. But
we'll see. This race has a different complexion than the first few, doesn't it? Than the first 3 races.
Sherman, the opening quarter, 23 seconds. Irish
that's pretty fast. Yeah.
3 wide. E2 Babu coming up the rail. The trailers.
3 sweeping way wide.
Here we go.
3 across the track. Miss Lane skip a short lead. In between horses.
It's going to come down to the 3 and the 6. It looks like.
Wow.
Here comes the 3.
Here's your 3, El Hombre.
There's a 3, El Hombre. Good call.
Wow. Very good call.
Can you believe that?
There it is.
I would be way more excited, Matt, except for you pointed out that drop in odds was wild at the end.
Well, that gets to Sarah's point that she made.
Yeah.
About that was the horse that was the favorite in the pick 3 pool, and so you figured the price had to come down at some point, and indeed it did. So
that's amazing. Wow. I mean, it was $12 in the pick 3, and then just the money came in real late.
Yeah. Update: the 3 is not a gift in the win pool.
That went away quick.
Yeah, that did indeed go away there. But that is. That's interesting. That was now the second race in a row we've seen people come from off the pace. First 2 times out, you saw kind of early inside speed be pretty dominant. This time coming from off the pace. Last race off the pace as well. That was something Ed DeRosa from Horse Racing Nation pointed out, that last year in those early first 3 weeks, you tended to want to be more of a stalker. You wanted to be more of a mid-pack horse. So that was something just to keep in mind as we keep going on in the card, despite what the first 2 races certainly looked like.
Yeah.
But
it makes it more of a puzzle now, which is fun. Yeah.
We got Ellenberg, we got to know who's in the random wheel generator. How many people had the 3 to win?
We are filling it out now. It looks like there was 5 people on the 3.
Okay. Yeah. You got to give them a shout out. Who are the 3 people?
Todd O.
All right. Todd O.
Bill Derby. Kevin Harrow.
Yep.
Colin Loggins Sheehan.
Oh, wow.
We should totally
Tom Barch.
All right. And Barchy. All right. Very good. This is exciting. Are you ready to roll on the
random generator ready here?
All right.
First time usage of it. So I'm going to do one practice offline before I bring it up.
Probably a good idea.
Who knows?
So, it should be pretty straightforward.
And do we want to? Yeah, it's very straightforward. It's not that big deal.
But it's. I understand.
Do we want sound or no sound? I mean, that's a big question. That's the question.
I think we got to do sound. We got to do sound, and I think you mentioned Sean's name, right? Sean Heron. who's on the 3?
No.
Okay, so
we have
Sean
Todd
was also
O, Bill Derby, Kevin Harrow, Colin Sheehan, and Tom Barch.
So Sean was also on the 3. I will say I did see he did say that before.
My bad, Sean.
And then Tom and Tom was on the 3 right before it went off.
All right, we're adding them in. We got
all right, cool. Best pedigree.
Yeah. No, and Colin said that you can toss him out. Because Colin's got enough swag.
I got logins typed into the wheel, though. That was the whole point of adding Colin.
Yeah, but even if Collins wins, he doesn't win. So, all right. So, yeah. Here we go.
All right. So, hang on. I missed one. Sean Heron, right? He was in.
Yeah, Sean Heron.
Right.
And Tom and Tom.
So I got Todd O, Bill Derby, Kevin Harrow, Tom Barch, Tom and Tom, and Sean Heron. I think that was I
think we got everybody then.
Nice picks, guys.
I think we got it. Yeah. Excellent job, everybody, getting that 3 there, even if it was at 8-5 at the end of the day. So
that was crazy.
All right. Todd is
for this hat here. Yep.
We're putting the sound on. This is going to be just a thrill ride for you guys here.
Here we go. Todd.
It's all for the free hat. I'm about to click
leave it right here.
And this is the winner.
All right, here we go.
Ready?
Let's see who gets it.
Bada boom, bada bing.
All right.
Let's do it.
It's Todd O, baby. That's your winner.
All right.
Nice.
Todd O getting the win. And
nice.
I will say, Todd O just said, he goes, my head is sunburnt. I need a cool hat. You got one, my man. You got one.
Yeah, it's a really comfortable hat, man. Congrats.
Yeah, that is awesome. So
absolutely.
So Todd, here's what you're going to do. If you're on Twitter, Todd, you're going to write to, you're going to DM Bree, or you can DM me on Twitter at Fail to Menace, or you can write to Bree or tag Bree on a tweet and let her know, and she'll make sure to connect with you and get you your mailing address and get you that sent out to you. But big congratulations to Todd. That is awesome. Well done, my friend. Like I said, you can reach out to me as well. Happy to kind of pass along your information to Bree. One way or the other, we're going to make sure you get that hat so you can rock that Assiniboia look all year long and have your friends go, tell me more about Ass Downs. And that, there's so much to tell about this track. I love it.
It's cool.
Todd's a legend in the cocktail lounge too on Thursdays. Yep. He's usually in there, in the chat, mixing it up with the boys.
And Tim, you're not alone. You're not alone in your contempt, my friend. You're not alone, man. It's sadly it's become a part of the game, but you don't have to like it at all. And I certainly don't. I mean, I can't tell you the number of times a horse that I've liked just gets hammered in the last second, and I get a fraction of what I was supposed to get paid out there. Yeah,
there was a perfect example right there.
Oh my God! I mean, that horse was legitimately 6-1, 6-1, loading him in 8-5 coming out of the gate. I mean, that was just ridiculous. Again, like as Sarah pointed out, there were some indicators that was going to happen, but man, that just all of a sudden just dropped.
Yeah, and if you don't understand what we're talking about by the will, Sarah brought up the will pays and the pick 3.
Yeah,
that's a video that we're probably overdue on, Matt, to explain how will
that's
pays
a great
works,
point.
Because it's it's very telling. If you, like Sarah pointed out, the 3 was the favorite for the pick 3 will pays. That usually is almost always indicative of what's actually going to happen. Very rarely would you see a case like the last, 2 minutes to post, and that's why Sarah made the comment about great value on the win bet if you can get it, or whatever she said. It was something along those lines because it was like 6-1, but clearly on the pick 3, he was the favorite, and that usually is more of the truth teller is the will pays on the pick 4, 5, 3, whatever you're looking at. But yeah, it was very clear that horse was undervalued,
really
undervalued the last 2 minutes, and then it corrected. You saw the correction at the last minute, which, by the way, if you're a big bettor and you're like, wow, this is such a great deal, I'm going to get 5 or 6 to 1 on this. You put X amount of dollars down. Now you're pissed when it goes off and it's 8-5.
Sure. Yeah,
tough,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you take the win, but
tracks like the mid-tier to smaller tracks in the country or Canada or wherever you're betting, like the smaller the pools are, the more erratic they get. So
right. Yeah, the big race days, you don't really see that as much, I think, right? Because the money's kind of been in the pool for a while, and it's big pool. But yeah, you see it. I've seen it at like Penn National and Mountaineer and those kind of tracks. Just
when there's like at the end. $5,000 or $10,000 total pool. I mean, like $100 bet actually moves the needle a little bit. Whereas like you're looking at like the Preakness, $5,000 bet doesn't even move the needle, like at the last minute. So
right.
Pools are so large.
I will say Sarah, does point out that this is something NYRA has started to do. And I know people sometimes complain about the exacta payouts because as a result of this, but they have really limited the CAW money. And as a result, you don't see those drastic last second drops in prices, and bettors know what they're going to get with a couple minutes to go to post in those races. So I think, certainly different tracks and different regions are trying to attack this in a slightly different way. But, this was, hey, listen, El Hombre, you picked the winner, though. That's the key. Only winners in Monday Night Lights, only winners in the lounge, only winners on Monday Night Lights. You got one. So that's good.
Yeah, you moved up big time in Stableduel, probably. Yeah.
So
I hope. I didn't even look. I guess it probably hasn't updated yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite updated yet. So this was one where I'm kicking myself because I had the 7 in the $25 game, but I had the 1 in the free ride. So, this is where I deviate. Colin always gets on me on this because he's like, why do you deviate your why do you change your stables from contest to contest? It's like, I don't know. I just want to try to screw around with stuff.
When I'm multi-entry, I definitely do that too, though. I think that's part of the reason to multi-entry.
Yeah.
I think it kind of depends on the card for me too, but I mostly kind of switch it up if I have a couple of stables.
Yeah. So listen, we
got ladies and gents, I hate to do this to you, but I have to sign off. I've got like 40 things going on this evening.
Yeah, man. All good. El Hombre, appreciate you checking in, man.
All right, El Hombre.
Big turnout all night. We love it.
Yeah, we still got 3 more races. Keith and I are going to stick with you the whole way.
I'm going to hang out.
Man.
Cocktail Lounge will be on Thursday night. A lot of other content coming this week.
Awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
Absolutely.
Stay tuned for the boys, and we'll keep on winning, hopefully. Thanks,
keep
guys.
on cashing those checks. Thanks, El Hombre. Appreciate it, brother.
Sounds good, man. Have a good night.
All right. And then there were 2. My man, we're here. It's all right. That's where we started with 2. We're going to end with 2, and that's all right.
Late pick 3 action. Yep.
Yeah, late pick 3 exactly. Exactly. So no, late pick 3 action indeed. So we are going to look at race number 5 here. And this one is 5 furlong claimer on the dirt. And, this was one that was a little bit interesting to me. I thought the number 5 was a little interesting. I know what Imina obviously is the favorite. 8 for 15 in the money at Assiniboia Downs. 4 for 12 winning at this distance. This is a horse that is, what this horse is going to try to do, wire the field. Did it successfully. And here's the thing. This horse did that successfully last year off the bench. If you go and look, June 6, 2022, $2,500 claimer, this horse went wire to wire off the bench, first time out since September of the previous year. Comes back, does the exact same thing next time out in a claiming 35. So this horse can wire off the bench. Obviously, we've seen horses coming from a little off the pace tonight, though, the last 2 races. So, Keith, interested, where did you end up going in this one?
So, yeah, I did, usually going into this kind of card, I was more speed biased, but that's a good point that you said, though. The last couple of races have been, off the pace winners. I did go with Know What I Mean as my top pick. Just all the points you just said. I just think she could be tough on the front end, and just she breaks really well, and just these running lines. I know that was the favorite last time, didn't get the job done, but as I said, I'm kind of I like these horses that are just stabled at Assiniboia, and it just has, let me see what I wrote here. Yeah, 3 out of 4 at the distance. So just a very consistent type. She'll be on the front end. And I actually gave a look. Let me see here. I went with a big price here, number 9, actually. Time for a Song. And I remember, it's funny. I remember these horses from last year. Just they were in my stable duel. And, sometimes I kind of say, I remember this race on September 28th. Was the favorite at a lower level, but just a consistent type that she doesn't, need the lead, can be kind of like sitting mid-pack, and just what we've seen the last couple of races, it's a 12-1 boarding line, and she's 15-1 right now. So 5-year-old mare, Time for a Song. I just put her as my second pick, actually. And I gave the one also a look. What up now, JT?
Yeah, so the one is my Stableduel play in this race. So that was the one I really liked. 8-1 on the morning line, has taken some money and is currently 7-2 right now on the line. And this is a horse that, again, I'm just playing kind of connections. I like the trainer, Wendy Anderson. I like the jockey, Carreno, obviously, very good jockey up there. This is a horse that's 6 for 10 in the at the distance in terms of in the exacta. Is 8 for 10 at the distance in the money, is 4 for 8 in the money at Assiniboia Downs. So it got success at this track, at this distance, and had a really nice run here last year. Granted, it was towards the end of the season, but this horse, and horse was last year. It's funny. This horse was actually running at Golden Gate and then came to Assiniboia. So this horse wasn't coming off that super long layoff like he did before, like a lot of others. He just had a very brief, 2-month layoff kind of, and then ran fourth. It actually to Kate's Princess, who's a huge favorite in a couple of races. I think in the last race on the card is the 2-1 morning line favorite. And that was an optional claimer 10, so much higher level race. And, then kind of had muddy conditions and then finally, got to kind of the right level, the kind of claiming 5 level and rattled off 4 really straight good efforts. And so thought this one at 8-1 might have a shot inside, not bad. So that was the one. Now 7-2 obviously, so some people are kind of seeing some of the things I saw. You're losing a little bit of value there, but
I actually used the horse also in Stableduel just because of what you just mentioned. Just look at this stretch here. I mean, it's amazing. From August to September, you know how these horses can run every 2 weeks at Assiniboia. I mean, we got a first, second, third, second, and then I know the last race didn't really go as planned, but it's just a very consistent type. And 8-1 morning line, you got to look at that as value.
Yeah, absolutely. And you figure this is a horse actually that, based upon what we saw the last 2 races, should actually sit a decent trip because this horse has speed. So you figure this horse will get out of the inside post position okay. It's not like this horse is going to be sitting dead last, but it's probably going to be coming from off the pace slightly. If you look, that's where this horse usually runs, is 3rd, 4th place. So this horse isn't going to be on that lead, which, like I said, the last couple of races looks like you kind of want to be coming from off the pace, as some of that early speed conditioning may not be in mid-season form. So we got 12 minutes to post here until we get to race number 5. Let us know where you're going in this race. Who's your top pick? Let us know where you guys are going with this one. And this is, going to be, I think, a really competitive race. Colin, you went with the 5 in this race, I think you said. So that's one we've not touched on yet, but that is one. Oh no, I know what I mean. Yeah. So that is the favorite right now at 7-5. So certainly a very logical horse to use with the 5 there, but interested to hear what the rest of you are going to be using. Mitchell here used the 1 and the 6 in Stableduel, and our good friend Sean Nolan used the exact same thing. Also used the 1-6.
Cool.
We've not talked about the 6. What is it? Asterobe yet? Or Astrotobe?
I think you did better than me. Yeah.
Yeah. Astrotobe. Yeah, that's what it is. Astrotobe.
There you go.
And yeah, that's an interesting horse. 6-1, now down to 7-2. So this horse is taking money for a Shelley Brown with Whitehall aboard. And here's the thing. You want to talk about success at Assiniboia. I mean, this horse has it. Right. 13 for 16 in the money at Assiniboia. I mean,
that's amazing. I see that here.
Yeah, you can't really beat that. And is 13 for 15 at this distance. So there's there's a lot to like here. This is a horse with 58 career lifetime efforts.
Looking at that's amazing. You got to love these 9-year-old mare. I mean, 58 races. I mean, that's just in the money. Looks like we got 36 times. I mean, out of 58. I mean, that's amazing right there.
Yeah. I mean, listen, and here's the kicker. This horse has been running basically. I mean, this horse broke her maiden in a maiden 16. Okay. Maiden claimer 16, and has never run. I mean, she did run in kind of a high level allowance race a couple of times. or I shouldn't even say that. Yeah, you know, some $15,000, $20,000 allowance races. By and large, this horse has been running in like the, you know, 4-digit, you know, $3,000, $5,000, $4,000 claimers. She has still amassed $100,000 in earnings in her career. So, you know, she's doing okay in that regard. So that's, you know, that is pretty cool. Like that a lot. Bill Derby is using the 1 and the 2 here in Stableduel for the 5th race on the card. And the number 2 is 2 Steps Faster. This horse also a lot of success at Assiniboia, 11 times in the exacta, 14 for 28 in the money at Assiniboia, and 8 for 11 in the money at this distance. So, you know, definitely. And you mentioned it, Keith, with you know, the number 1 horse, but you could say the same thing about this number 2.
True.
You go back third, first, fourth, second, fourth, you know, just always around the board and very consistent.
These are just really consistent, you know, hard knocking horses here, which you got to appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Greg likes your 9 a little bit that you were taking a look at. I think so. You know, that's when you can get a little bit of a price on. So,
yeah, I mean, you know, the 9 was the favorite the last few races in the fall last year. I mean, I know, granted, it was at a little bit of a lower level, but I actually, one of my favorite angles is, as I read here, inside pace, tired, inside pace. I mean, I just sometimes if they get stuck inside, I know it's a Assiniboia and we like the inside, but sometimes I like them drawing outside if they get stuck inside the last, you know, few races. So
yeah,
let's see. I like her to maybe get a piece of it.
Yep, absolutely. And Malathat for 74, thank you. It is pronounced a star to be is how you pronounce the number what's that, 6 horse in this race. So it is not pronounced all one word. It is in fact pronounced a star to be. So that is why we were struggling with how to pronounce it. So that makes a lot of sense. Hey, listen, Stableduels are updated. So drop in the chat how you're doing in your Stableduel. I took a little bit of a step back there last time out. Although I guess Miss Langship got me a couple points, but I'm in 12th place right now in the $25 game, and I'm in 87th place. Yikes! In the free ride. So took a little bit of a step back there, but our man Sean Heron doing well, moved up to 8th in the $25 game, and using the number 2 here, hoping he can get out of the gate. Absolutely. So that's great to see.
Nice.
So
see Cindy's playing a pick 3 here. That's cool.
Mitchell, I hear you, brother. Sometimes, you know, it updates. I keep moving back. But hey, we got a big time winner in the chat here. We got Bill Derby up to 5th place in the free ride.
Wow, you're really doing well, Bill.
See that, man. That's awesome. Oh yeah, Cool Air Man. There you are. I just followed you.
All right, cool.
So yeah, very good. Cool Air Man dropping in 5th there in for Bill Derby. That's awesome. And yeah, Cindy, you're playing the pick 3, and I like it. I mean, certainly going with 2 and then the 5, and then spreading that last leg. I think that last leg is just, you can get a price.
Right, that's just unbelievable.
Yeah, you
it's
can
a
get
wide
a price
open race. Yeah,
it really is. There's a lot of horses that you look through, and this was something where, you know, I don't know about how you handicap, Keith, but it was one where, you know, I'll look at pace dynamics, but then I just kind of look through and go, okay, who fits, you know, kind of in this race in terms of speed figures, in terms of how they finish, in terms of like, and I was just like, God, I feel like I've looked at the same horse 6 times in a row, and it was just 6 different horses, but they all like had roughly the same speed figures, roughly the same types of performances, roughly the same running styles, at roughly the same levels.
Hard to differentiate.
Like, man, it was really hard to differentiate. I think that last race. So that was a tough one, but you know, I think you know, Cindy, you are going against the grain a little bit. And listen, if you're going to make money, you got to do that. So going against the grain a little bit, I think in the next race. So you like actually the morning line favorite, Sparkling Silver, in that maiden special weight race. I like Olive's Candy, the 6 in that race. But listen, I think I agree with your strategy. Single spread in terms of that pick 3 makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, if you're right, you're going to get paid. Yep.
Exactly. And Cindy's been to she's been through exactly 39 more opening days in Assiniboia than I have. This is my second, is her 41st. I'll take Cindy's word for this sort of thing. So love it. So let's see what we got.
Cool.
Todd's got the 2, 3, 6, 7 boxed. All right. Love to see that. That's going to be
make a little money. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, box them up. And so we're getting close to post time. 5 minutes to post actually here.
Yeah, they're moving along.
So yeah, so let's talk a little bit about it. But we got the number 5, Know What I Mean, 9 to 5 on the tote right now. Number 2, 2 Steps Faster, is at 7 to 2. Then What's Up Now JT is the third choice at 4 to 1, down from 8 to 1 morning line.
That's big.
Then you have the number 6, A Star to Be, at 9 to 2. And then it really is kind of those 4 that are all kind of, I think, pretty clearly the choices that a lot of us have been talking about. Then you see a pretty big jump, because then it goes to number 4, Tacoma Rose at 11 to 1. Then Wits Gato at 16 to 1, A Time for a Song at 18 to 1, and then finally Vidira at 28 to 1. So those kind of top 4 choices are all relatively closely grouped together between Know What I Mean, 2 Steps Faster, What Up Now JT, and A Star to Be. So those are kind of your top choices as it stands going into race number 5 on the card.
Yeah, it's the first Wits horse that I saw on the card. I remember last year. I think it was King Wit was actually one of my favorite horses from last year. You know, he got
so many, yeah.
Right. He had that one ride, but then after that, I think he won like a few in a row. It was
yeah.
They really get into good form.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, but the King Wit was a good one. Yeah, Wits Gato, I've actually seen. I remember that horse before, but there's Wits. There's so many. If people play, and it's all because of the owner, if I'm not mistaken. The owner names them after him, and so. But if you've ever played like Sam Houston and Lone Star, there's a ton of them down there too, because that's where a lot of them are down in the Texas as well. So you see a lot of Wits down there.
Yeah, Wits. I remember Texas playing and all those.
Yeah, Wits Texas playing, exactly. Yeah. So.
I think Sean Nolan was always the one that said you always play Wits across the board or something like that.
No, Sean plays Wits across the board. He plays Juba across the board. I always know he's always going to play a Juba at Chucktown. Juba's Notion, Juba's brother, Juba's sister, Juba, everybody. I know Sean always loves to play Juba, and they do run well at Charlestown. So so listen, we're coming along here, but I think, it's funny in this one. How am I going to bet this? This is a kind of a tough one. I do really like What's Up Now JT from that inside position a lot. I'll probably do a small win bet on the number 1, and then I'll probably do some combination of a kind of probably keying on. I might key on the 5 actually, and I'll do like a exacta key box with the 5, 2, 1 or something like that. I think that's probably the way I'm going to go in this one. So let us know again. Let us know what you think, what your bets are going to be tonight. And let us know how things are going.
Another wide open race. Yeah. I mean, it's, I like the 5, I like the front speed, and, when I went in to handicap this card quickly, I always had in the back of my mind that front speed, holds, but, you never know in horse racing. The last couple of races, the results were a little different. And, I just see a pace advantage for Know What I Mean too. I mean, going to be on the front end, and then probably followed by, it's actually a lot of horses have very similar speed after that. So I think the one might get a nice trip.
Yeah, I think it's interesting looking at Timeform US and their pace indicators. They kind of have the 2, 5, and 9 as the horses that are going to be up there pretty close to the lead, followed by the 1, 4, and 7. And so, they kind of see the 2, 5, and 1 as kind of the biggest threats to win in this race. But we'll have to kind of see how this pace scenario plays out. And, obviously the jockeys are adjusting in real time as well to seeing how all of that plays out. So we got 0 minutes to post actually, as I'm sitting here pontificating about things, which should probably get moving a little bit rather than just yammering on about stuff. But so we got 5 minutes posted on the track. They are they're circling around in front of the gate a little bit, but they are getting there for race number 5 on the card. And Craig pointing out, listen, we don't body shame here. on Trust the Profits. The 4 does look a little chunky. Listen, I look a little chunky too because I've not been working out in 6 months as well.
Getting in shape now. First night of racing there. So.
Exactly. I'm a little round. I'm a little, round around the belly. Race 5 Super. Oh, in OPFA going deep here, going 2 over the 1, 3 through 7, 9. 1, 3 through 7, 9. 1, 3 through 7, 9. IE 2 all. It is time to roll. So in OPFA, let's go get it on that superfecta. So looking forward to that. Got a lot of folks. Cindy pointing out some potential, sitting here looks like the inside part of the track is faster, but they're not riding the rail. No, Cindy, they're not riding the rail. Point. And that is a fantastic point. I'm glad that I'm not the only crazy person who's noticed that they are not riding the rail and they go
why.
Super wide.
Maybe just the trainer. I mean, maybe just they were told to keep the horse on the outside. But I was looking at the will pays and 5 is the favorite in the pick 3. But I mean, this could be another situation where the 2's starting to get bet down now. So because it was 2 steps faster was 6-1, now 4-1. So I think the 2 could clearly be the second choice.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of sitting. It is sitting kind of at the second choice, but could end up being the clear second choice right now. The 6 and the 1 are at 9-2, so just right there with that 2 at 4-1, and then the 5 at 6-5. So this is, pretty wide open. And listen, if you like one of these, if you like the 3, the 4, the 7, or the 9, you're getting a price. And so even if you like one of those horses underneath a little bit, certainly, profitably use as Inopfo was pointing out, using some of those priced horses underneath make a ton of sense in this sort of spot. And that's how you're going to enrich things a little bit. So this is they're now walking to the starting gate here. And so I will pull things up and get things going here a little bit. And we'll listen in on the track feed and watch along. And this is again, we got to give a huge shout out to the folks at Assiniboia who when we talked to them the other week said, hey, show the stream anytime you want.
That's cool.
We really appreciate it because listen, as much as Keith and I might enjoy calling races, it's a lot better to listen to professionals call races.
I can't match Kurt's enthusiasm on those race calls. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we enjoy it, but it's nice. It's beautiful to have the live stream. It just makes it everybody could watch at the same time. So it's great.
Absolutely. No, this is a blast. And so really thrilled for this. And and so we got interesting odds right now. It is now post time, but it is the 5 at 6-5, and then 3 horses at 9-2. The 1, 2, and 6 are all at 9-2 right now on the board. So that is interesting to see what we got there, and they are starting to load them into, starting to kind of walk them around the back of the gate there, and getting them ready for race number 5 here on the card. And this
what it is? They probably knew this horse's history and they loaded her first.
Maybe that's a great point. Yeah.
And then because they had a bunch of workers on that horse right away. So
Yep. No, you're absolutely. Is that the 6?
7?
The 7.
Maybe Witzgato. Let's see.
Witzgato.
I don't really see any issues in the past at the gate. All right, let's see. Maybe they're going right to the 6 or the 7 here.
Yeah, it is. I think the 6.
Okay.
Looks like it. But
yeah, they knew something was up, so they had to act fast. All right.
It looks like they're trying to get the horse. There's the horse.
Yeah.
Looks
like they had a game plan here. Yeah.
Yeah, they really did. You're right about that. I mean, they have half the. I mean, they might start getting fans in from the track to help out with the 6 here at this rate. But looks like they got the 6 in safely, and so that's good. Okay, a star to be is acting like a star, acting like quite the diva. So needing everybody and their cousin there
to
get that horse loaded in. But that's good.
On the inside, what up now, JT?
But that's great to see too. It's great to see them go. Listen, where to know the horse's temperaments, and listen, we need extra time. Let's get this one in safe, and let's not penalize the other horse.
Something.
Yeah, exactly. So, right at the wire. I don't know where you get the soundtrack to the Assiniboia Downs live feed, but it is a banger for sure. So you need to.
That's great.
We need to reach out to our friends there and try to find it. So, all right, here we go. Getting ready to load them all up.
All right, here we go. Yeah, I feel like we got to call it, but no, we're all good.
No,
we got this.
We just get to sit back. Yeah,
great.
Sit back and enjoy.
So in Stableduel, I'm using the 1 and the 5.
All right, I'm on the 1 here. I think I'm just on the 1.
Cool.
I'm not sure.
They're all set. They're at the post.
I'm on the 1-5 too.
Right, here we go. Here we go.
All right. Oh, the 1 stumbled a little bit and broke inside.
Yeah.
But seems to be doing okay now, but this is the back of the pack.
Shows early speed with Know What I Mean. To her outside now, taking over as the leader.
He was waiting all year to say that.
Yeah. 5 lengths. That's a star to be. Another length to
I actually had the 4 second. All right.
Moving on the outside. Time for a song with Witzgato in between.
5 just got to keep going.
Trailers 2 steps faster. And what up now, JT?
So here's the 9. I thought the 9 would be in that exact position. So let's see.
Know What I Mean with the lead.
Here, Know What I Mean is actually on the inside rail.
Yeah, so again, I think kind of getting overpowered here. Let's see.
Yeah, star to be.
There it is.
But a star to be.
That was her plan all along. Be fractious and win.
Be fractious and win. A star to be. 6 easy win over the 4.
Much the best.
Much the best. Absolutely.
To Videra.
Absolutely. Much the best
for about this horse.
a star to be. Yeah, absolutely. So this was listen, that was a really strong effort there from a star to be. And now that's 3 races in a row where front end speed has absolutely faded. And you've wanted to come from all off the pace. And we talked about this horse as being one who is 13 for 16 in the money at Assiniboia with 6 wins and 13 for 15 at this distance with 4 wins going into this race. Now 16 for 14 with 5 wins. So this is a horse that had a lot of success and has demonstrated the ability to run well off the layoff before. So certainly a great effort there. If you had the 6, good job.
You got a nice price. Yeah,
yeah,
5 to 1. Yeah, 5 to 1.
Yeah. So not bad at all to see that. So Dennis likes this. He's keeping him alive in Stableduel. That's good, Dennis.
Okay.
We'd love to see that. That's good. So no, the 1 I don't think did come in last. The 1 I think maybe came in.
I think my 9 actually.
Yeah, the 9 I think came in last. Yeah, and then I think the 1 came in like I don't know, like 6th or 7th maybe. So because the 1 was there, I thought the 1 was going to make more of a move at the top of the stretch, and then just never really. Just kind of
didn't really break grade, and it's tough from the 1 post to kind of, didn't rush up, but just not the ideal positioning that you want to be on the 1 post there. But like a lot of these horses, this is their first start of the year, so it's it's a growing process. So now there's just they race these horses at Assiniboia. I mean, it's amazing. They really race them like every 2 weeks at most sometimes. So sometimes you'll see him come back the next week. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So the unofficial order finish is 6-4-2-3. So 6-4-2-3. A star to be, Docomo Rose, 2 steps faster, and Videra. And Videra is the one who's going to complete your superfecta at 45 to 1.
Ooh. So we had somebody play a super.
Yeah, I think Inofa was Inofa was all in on the 2, and I think that was the problem. Yeah. And so but listen, that is a little rough there, but that is where we were in race number 5. And listen, folks, we only got 2 more races left on the card, and then we are headed home for the night. So that's the beautiful part of Assiniboia. Exactly, late daily double. Shout out to Colin Sheehan. Colin, you got to drop the daily double for us. That's your show here on Trust the Profits. If you're not, hey, listen, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to press that subscribe button. Make sure to like this video, share on social. Always appreciate everybody's support. Colin does some great work here on doubling down on all of his different content. Some of the video breakdowns he does on the different horses, really great stuff. So Colin, make sure you drop that daily double for the closeout in the 6th, 7th race here at Assiniboia. But Listen, it is as Greg pointed out, the chunky number 4 horse actually ran pretty well, and so
there you go.
ran a
Burn
decent
some calories right there.
Yeah, burn some calories exactly. No, absolutely. But there you go. So listen, we're moving towards the end of the card, and this last one is maiden special weight. And those are always my favorite races.
Yeah,
but we got
to talk about these. Yeah,
$20,000 maiden special weight, going 5 furlongs, obviously on the dirt, and this is one I just really like. That 6 a lot. Olive's Candy. Yeah. That was just kind of my, I thought, just obvious play here for that particular race. But interested if you looked anywhere else, or if there was a second choice that you kind of looked at a little bit in this one, or if it was just kind of the 6 and forget about it.
I was big on the 6 too. I mean, I just look at this. Yeah, I mean, lightly raced, but I mean, just based on figures alone, Olive's Candy, it just looks really strong here. And then, I see what the betting public is doing, but actually, yeah, I did like the 5. So that's actually Sparkling Silver was my second pick here. This is a Woodbine shipper coming in. It's just coming out of pretty strong, maiden. They sometimes say maiden claiming to maiden special weight. That's a jump right there. So I mean, I know didn't really run well. Woodbine finishing 8th there, but if you look at the races before, I mean, we got a 4th and a 3rd place finish, and it's I was really just zeroed in on those 2 horses. Really heavy on the 6, though, like you said.
Yeah, I did like this 6 obviously quite a bit. The best speed figure on dirt out of this whole group. Obviously, the number 5 is coming out of those synthetic races at Woodbine. But the speed figure on dirt in terms of Olive's Candy was very superior. And if you go back, the speed figures on synthetic are miles better than anybody else in this race. I mean, recorded a 51-58 first 2 time out by our speed figures. There's nobody else even within 10 points of that in this field. Even the number 5, his best speed figure on the synthetic is a 34. So, or her best speed figure, I should say, is a 34. The number 7, is I kind of see why they made this 7 the 5-1's third choice, but again, you isolate those dirt efforts. A 0 2 times the horse didn't even record a speed figure, and the other time it was a 20. It's just hard for me to get behind that. And again, going from maiden claimer up to maiden special weight. Now, granted, coming in from Tampa, so you'd assume tougher competition, but it's been running on the turf, and so we'll see.
I kind of stayed away from Tampa tonight. I don't know. I just kind of wanted to see one and see how the horse does on the surface. But yeah, no, I mean, you bring up some good points there. I looked at the 7 pretty hard too, but I just I couldn't get past the just definitely running in better competition there at Tampa. But that's like you said, it's on the turf, so it's a completely different ball game now.
It is. So I'll give you a bomb if people are interested in a bomb, and I got to check that. Yeah, okay, it still is a bomb indeed.
I know what you're gonna say.
Who?
Like 3.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Keith, you know me well.
I like
that. So I like this 3 a little bit because the reason I like the 3 is the 3. I want to say I want to double check and make sure is the only horse other than the 8 and the 6 who's actually coming out of a maiden special weight race.
Yep.
That they've been and they debuted this horse. Wendy Anderson, trainer who's already won tonight, debuted this horse in the debutante,
right,
in a $40,000 stakes race. Horse finished 4th out of 5, well beaten, comes back, and these are off Lasix the first couple of times, then comes back, runs in another maiden special weight, finishes 4th out of 6, well beaten again, then goes and gets Lasix added, runs again, doesn't do anything. Here's the thing, though. They're keeping this horse at a maiden special weight level. There's clearly some expectations here with this horse. And this horse clearly shows something. And if you look at the workouts, this horse has been working out nicely and for a while and has 2 5-furlong works the last 2 times out. And while if you just look at those times on their own, you wouldn't think much of it, a 102.4 and a 103 flat. but it was third of 15 and second of 8 of those working out that day at Assiniboia. I don't know. There's something there. At 20-1, now 28-1 on the board. I'll take a shot. Now 32-1 on the board. I'll take a shot with that horse. So
I agree with every point you said. I mean, these workouts I wrote here, I love the spacing of these workouts too. I mean, there's no gaps at all.
Yep.
And it's just very consistent. And it's just all the points you just said. I mean, they debuted this horse in the $40,000. It looks like almost like a stakes race, and then just never dropped to maiden claiming. So there's got to be something there. And right now the public's not seeing it, but I might put a couple bucks on this horse actually at that place.
Well, you know who is seeing it? Our good friend Colin Sheehan is seeing it because he is including the 3 in his daily double. We asked Colin to drop the daily double, and he our wish is his command, and he did it. So 163 over the 7-3-1-5. That's how Colin's going to play the next 2 races. That's how he's going to close it out. 163 over the 7-3-1-5 for races 6 and 7 at Assiniboia Downs tonight. So if you want to play along with Colin, that's his ticket. Love to see yours if you're playing that daily double hangout. And listen, Malathat 74. Hey man, we love hanging out with all of you good folks too. Saturday, there were ups and downs on Saturday for sure. At Pimlico, with obviously having a meltdown and just way too many sad stories taking place right now in horse racing, and we don't love to see it. We try to do what we can here on Trust the Profits with Thoroughbred Aftercare Charities, raising money, raising awareness, and speaking to these issues when they happen. We don't try to gloss this stuff over. We talk about the difficult conversations that need to be had in the sport, because if we just all act like everything's great and hunky-dory, nothing's going to get better, and we ultimately need to protect these horses. So, it is it's one of those where, listen, we love talking to you all, though. Love to have all the people out there. Listen, it is almost 11 o'clock at night. We still got 50 people in the chat. This is awesome. Wow. This is awesome that so many of you are hanging out with us tonight. Opening day, Assiniboia Downs. This is what it's all about. And what have we seen? Last 3 races coming from off the pace.
That's right.
So I think that might be a new angle now to see if this continues on. Really like to see if we continue to see this off the pace type of horse do well here. And this is one where we'll see who ends up taking the lead in this particular race.
I didn't see much pace in this race. Yeah,
there
maybe the 2. Yeah,
there isn't. I mean, I think probably the 5 will probably flash a little bit of speed as well.
Right.
But yeah, there's not a ton of pace. And I think the other part of that, the other reason I like that 6 even more now, has the best late pace speed figures in the group. So definitely like to see that from that 6 who should come running late the way the track's playing. So, we will see the formula checking in as well. Feels like the 7 is due. My man, the 7 is due for something on the dirt, because the last 3 times on the dirt have been rough. So, I mean, I hope he just has a decent enough trip tonight. But listen, man, Greg, the night is still young. Indeed, it is. Listen, I'm sure there's racing in Australia. I'm sure there's some Aussie racing, some Hong Kong racing, some Japanese racing.
What do they call quaddies? Yeah, I'm going to put some quaddies together.
I love it. I love it. So, thanks so much, man, for hanging out tonight. It's awesome. Love having you here. This is great. Appreciate all the love, and appreciate all of you here in the chat. Let's talk.
I'm just gonna step away 1 second before this race. I'll be right
of course, no problem. So,
all right, cool, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, and so I will. So I'll take over solo here for a little bit until Keith gets back. But listen, Johnny V, great ride on Saturday with National Treasure. That was my top pick. If you were watching on the channel, you knew I love National Treasure, so that was my top pick in that race. And I've been just kind of on that horse for a while. Finally kind of came through. But listen, this is a fun night. Yeah, Todd, we love these 5 furlong races. Greg, these are the types of tracks we love, man. This is a lot of fun. So great times here. And we're cruising towards post time here in the 6th race on the card. They're in the paddock, 9 minutes to post. And Olive's Candy, the number 6 horse, has dropped down to the overwhelming even money favorite right now. Sparkling Silver who was actually the morning line favorite at 5-2, has maintained those odds at 5-2. Everybody else you can get a price on. The number 8 horse has dropped significantly down to 8-1. The 7 horse is at 9-1. Everybody else is in the double digits. My 3, apparently everybody thinks I'm crazy. My 3 is at 23-1, is the highest choice on the board. But it's interesting. So let's talk a little bit about this 8, who's third choice on the board. And the logic that I used on the 3, you could absolutely apply to the 8 as well, which is to say this is a horse that debuted in a maiden special weight race last year, is now coming back in the same spot, has never been dropped down, and is running at this level. The reason I was maybe a little more out on the 8 was those works just didn't do a lot for me. 105-4, 5 furlong work leading up on May 10th, a 52-3, 4 furlong work. In comparison to what the 3 was doing, it just felt like the 3 was in better condition coming into this race. The other thing is the 3 has been working out consistently for a while. This 8 has only worked out 4 times since the season has started. So that was kind of why I maybe leaned against the 8, but definitely a horse I looked at, coming out of those maiden special weight races. The 7, listen, I see a little bit of what they're looking at in terms of some of the synthetic and turf forms, not half bad. It's just the dirt form I just can't get over. It's just not good. And, the last couple of times out were better. This horse is fresh in terms of this horse is coming out of, active races. Last ran April 21st at Tampa Bay. So if you like that Tampa shipping angle, that certainly was something to consider. I don't necessarily see it. Sparkling Silver, had a really bad performance last time out. Now, granted, that was in December, coming off a long layoff and switching to dirt for the first time. The works look solid enough, but like I said, coming off the synthetic now and trying the dirt at Assiniboia. The 4 is coming out of a maiden claiming 10. And granted, did okay at that level at Fawner, and was at Lone Star Houston before that. But I mean, there's not a lot to inspire confidence there. I mean, there's really kind of one race I would look back on, that race from maybe April 21st, that might be good enough to win in this spot. And even that, I would say, is pretty questionable. Definitely has run against some next out winners a few times. And, the celebration dance really hasn't done much, obviously. One effort, and it was a well-beaten effort at that. And, the one is maybe mildly interesting. Maybe had some excuses first time out, but then second time out didn't really do a lot of Tampa. So we are seeing that kind of Tampa angle coming back up a little bit here. And so that's one to certainly just consider. So, so Keith, you're back, my man.
Thank you. And, I heard you talking some horses. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now we got to talk the ponies. So, so the odds are we got 6 minutes to post here, and Olive's Candy is even money. Sparkling Silver at 3-1. I Am Mila at 8-1, and everybody else at double-digit odds. So I was trying to make the argument for the 8, and it was basically kind of the same argument as the 3, except I like the 3's works a lot more than I like the 8's works. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's exactly. I mean, it just comes back to that the 3, the workouts kind of really jumped out to me. And one of the main things I was saying before, I just like how there's no gaps in the spacing here for Wendy Anderson. So I mean, it's just you never, I mean, 19-1. I mean, I don't know. I might have to use some kind of an exacta here. I mean, I still really like Olive's Candy on top, but it seems like definitely some kind of play could happen here.
Yeah, and Greg brings up a really good point, which is this 8, I think, and I agree with him. I think the 8's going to be better the longer they go. This is just not a sprint horse. You can tell this horse does not have maybe that quick acceleration, that quick twitch. But you let this horse keep running. This horse goes 2 turns. Certainly a horse to consider as they continue to stretch out here at the Assiniboia meet later on. So, one to keep in mind maybe later. And that is a really important thing. We should say sometimes these horses that come running late or that don't quite get there, or you go, well, I don't know, they didn't really show much there. Those are horses to bet back next time around at Assiniboia, because when it goes to 6 furlongs, 6.5, 7, you want to bet those horses. And the horses that might look dynamite now might start fading a little bit. So this is one where the other thing you can do in Stableduel, and I don't know, Keith, do you do this? Do you save horses in Stableduel? Okay.
Yeah, I do. I save them on
right.
TVG too, and DRF. So I got a few different avenues. But yeah, I mean that's a great feature. I actually got an alert the other day. It says one of your fouled horses is running, and I actually didn't get in that stable duel game, but I think he ran like third or fourth. So it's
Okay.
fun to foul horses like that, and it actually if you got to make sure your alerts are on, but your notifications. But yeah, it's a great feature. I mean, you could foul horses. You could, I have actually a notebook here of some horses that I wrote some notes on. So it's just, as a horse player, you're always looking for angles like that. Like you said, these horses actually, it's their first start of the season, so they're getting into form, and they could actually get stronger. And if you see something, especially like you said, if they finish strong on a replay, I remember one of my first stable duel wins was on a horse that I watched the replay on, and one just got up at the wire. So I was during Colin's daily double show, actually. So
I love it. Yeah, listen, it's a great feature, and Bill, absolutely, just got to the same way you follow people, you can follow horses, and in the app, and so absolutely check that feature out. It's a really good one. One of the things I love to do is when I watch the races, and I go, oh, that horse just had a miserable trip. That's immediate save for me. I love seeing those horses who had a rough trip, who just had some sort of issue, traffic trouble, bad start, something that I go, this horse is going to be a bigger price next time out, probably. This horse is sitting on I like this horse enough to use this horse on a certain day. I'm really going to like this horse next time out, especially at a bigger price potentially.
Did you bet Perform in the Preakness by any chance on that angle? Or
I did not. I did not. I did like Perform, so I'm not going to run away from, even though Perform did not run particularly well. I did not run away from that one. I did like Perform. I just thought it was really hard to get past the top horses in the Preakness. I just thought there was a clear tier. And then I thought maybe Perform could hit the underneath trifecta. Like maybe he could run up into third or something like that. I thought, but maybe one of the big ones misfire, things like that. But I just, that was one where I was like, I know it's chalky, but I just really can't make an argument in good faith.
Blazing Sevens ran
huge,
much better. Yeah, than I thought. So it was definitely a horse to watch.
Yeah, it is. Blazing Sevens ran a nice race, and he kept him wide, which I know Chad Brown, the trainer, talked a little bit afterwards. That might have cost him the race in terms of the added distance that was run. It was certainly a valid point, but he kept him closer to the pace. I mean, Blazing Sevens usually comes from a little further back. I thought it was wise in a smaller field. Just stay close.
The blinkers probably helped a little. Yeah,
absolutely. The one that was puzzling was Red Route 1 being like 2 lengths off the lead at like the turn, and I'm like,
I think
man, what are we doing?
Sterling said something. Yeah, Andy Sterling on Twitter said his favorite moment was Red Route 1 passing Mage. I was like, I was so confused. Yeah, Red Route 1 was much closer than I thought, and then that just proved to the slow pace. So
it is. That was a rough one. Yeah, this is a good question. So right at the wire asks, how is Woodbine form at Assiniboia? It's interesting. You don't see it a ton necessarily. You don't see it as much as you'd think you'd see it. First of all, you'd think you'd see it a lot more.
I think Woodbine actually doesn't. Well, I know it's reversed, but I don't think Woodbine takes Fort Erie and those kind of horses. I thought I saw a tweet recently about that.
Yeah. But in terms of the Woodbine form, though, coming to Assiniboia, it can do well. It just depends on the class. I wouldn't say there's a universal assumption here. I would say the one thing to keep in mind is just the synthetic to dirt performance. What I like is when I see Woodbine horses who've run somewhere else come to Woodbine and then go to Assiniboia. Those are the types of horses that are just strictly Woodbine horses and go to Assiniboia. I get a little bit more worried about. But we are drastically approaching post time here. 0 minutes to post, in fact, and we're going to sit here and pull up the feed momentarily. So hang with us as we get that ready for you all. And again, big shout out to all the people at ASD for
thank you
for letting us show the feed tonight as they're getting there. But Olive's Candy staying true at the post time favorite at even money. And that is certainly Kurt's top choice. Stretch is going with the 5-6-7. And Kurt is going with the 6-2-5. So Going a little bit of love that 2, I should say, that we haven't really talked about much.
Yeah.
Celebration Dance. That's an interesting.
Second time starter.
Yeah. Second time starter. I mean, the works are nice. Got to work in at Assiniboia. 49 and 1/4 furlong, 6 out of 24. You know, that race already produced a next out winner, you could argue. You know, Whitehall's won a race already. This horse is probably going to flash some speed early. That might not be the best thing, given what we've seen the last couple of races. But,
true.
You know, but there's some decent pedigree here. I mean, you certainly compare this horse to some others in the field, and you know, it is. You know, I think the other reason you look at the 6 that we haven't even talked about, the 6 is Candy Ride. I mean, they paid a lot of money. I mean, $75,000 sire fee right there, and a dam from Kitten's Joy underneath. So, you know, they paid some money for this one, and it's interesting. This is where this horse has ended up. So
definitely, I was just thinking the same thing. It's really interesting how these horses can debut on, you know, a Brad Cox horse, and then all of a sudden they're in a Assiniboia on a Monday night. I mean, it's just amazing game.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Brad Cox horse debuted at Turfway Park going a mile back in February of this year with Landeros, who's one of Cox's top jockeys.
Yeah.
And, you know, certainly on that circuit. And yeah, the horse just never.
Time. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you know, dropped in class and almost got there at a maiden claimer 15, finished third by half length. And then, went to Hawthorne in a maiden special weight for a new trainer. Now it has a new trainer with Gardapi. So, you know, we'll see how this one plays out. But we are getting close to post time here, and odds are staying pretty consistent. You can get a price if you're outside of the 5 and 6. You're going to get some money here, I think. So
I'm gonna do like one of your dad's bets. I'm gonna do a show bet on the 3 that we were talking about.
I love it. I love it. Shout it out for the show bet. Listen, it's post time. Let us know in the chat. How are you betting this race? How are you playing this one? Let us know. I'm going to be playing the 6 keyed up top. I'm just going to do an exacta key, 6 up top with the 3, 5, and 8 underneath. That's where I'm going to go. So I'm going to go 6 over 3, 5, 8 is where I am going there. But let us know in the chat where you're going in this race, and let's turn the volume up so we can hear Kurt's call on the 6th race.
The starting 8.
Be a good race.
Celebration Dance now moves in. Next up, Everything to Gain.
Well, they're only 3 minutes behind scheduled time, which is amazing.
That's pretty damn good, yeah.
From the middle, it's Grisco's in.
Right, so yeah, I don't see a lot of pace on here. It's 5 furlongs, so that's why I kind of like the 6 more. Like, just can sit a nice spot and doesn't have to be pressed. And Olive's Candy,
Yep. So the 5's a little worked up, and it looks like the jockeys come off the 5. And they're going to load them in separately there. So working with that 5 to get them in, but they've been doing pretty well getting everybody loaded in. And
will now be loaded.
Yep.
Without jockey Jorge Carreño aboard.
5's a little. I'm on a little bit of a delay.
Yeah.
He'll hop back aboard.
Yep. 5 does not want to run this race.
So what do you do as a bettor? Like, I mean, if you see that, do you ever cancel?
It doesn't it doesn't cancel unless they really start acting up. I mean, horses, thoroughbreds are out of their damn minds, and just by their very nature. And so I don't ever hold that against them. I actually kind of like to see horses that are a little worked up sometimes.
Oh yeah, you mentioned, yeah.
And she is in.
So I don't mind that, but taking some money now down to 2 to 1. Olive's Candy still the favorite at 6 to 5, now 7 to 5.
Choice. Walks right in. Just 2 left to load. Move to order.
Yeah.
And now just waiting
13 to 1 on the 7.
On the outside.
There we go.
They're all set. They're at the post.
And they're off.
And they're off.
Yep. Pretty good start.
from the middle of the track. That's Sparkling Silver, showing good early speed. Celebration Dance is equal to the task and shows speed on the inside. 3 wide, Olives Candy is stalking those leaders, a gap of 3 lengths.
So this is kind of how we predicted it.
Trying to reel them in, backing out of it. Wits Chris.
There's not much else coming.
I mean, you really couldn't get a better trip than this 6 here.
Everything to gain just ahead. They went the opening,
and they're going pretty quick, actually.
Well, now the cavalry's starting to catch up a little bit.
A little wide again,
the far outside, full of run, trying to fight back. Celebration Dance, but it's Sparkling Silver. Olives Candy, the favorite.
Buy yourself a horse race here.
There we go.
Noses.
5 really digging in.
Yeah.
6 is just a little too much.
6, 5, 2, 7.
Second best.
Oh, so I think you hit your bet.
Fourth.
Yeah.
Move to order.
Good.
There we go. A little chalky with the 6 over 5.
Lounge on a Monday.
Yeah. A little cocktail. Only winners in the lounge. So we got the 6 there. We liked the 6 and thought that one was going to do it, and indeed did. But yeah, they went 22 and change opening quarter, and yeah, that was quite the stretch tool right there. That was a nice one.
Yeah, 5 ran really big because 5 was kind of on the front end setting the fractions, and then kind of just gave it up at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and that was one where and you don't want to extrapolate too much from one race, right? Because we talked about we didn't think there was a lot in this race. We thought there was kind of a pretty clear a pretty clear tier. And so, this one, the 3 horses that finished first, second, third were sitting first, second, third at different points in the race. I don't know if that means front end speed is playing. I just think those 3 were better than everybody else. I mean, that was, and they were just faster and they got out a little bit better. But yeah, the 2 ran, the 2 ran decent. I mean, the 2 ran a little bit better than I thought. And clearly took a step forward from that first debut race at Tampa Bay. So
that's actually a good example of what you were saying before about just that could be a horse you could put in your stable and say, maybe write a note and said this horse definitely, big step forward, second start from Tampa. That's definitely room for improvement there. I mean,
absolutely.
I think it's even going to get Celebration Dance is even going to run better next time.
Absolutely. No, I think that's a great point. So I think you're absolutely right about that. That's a nice one to kind of, I think, keep in mind for next time around.
We're going to do that right now.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. That was a nice effort up on the lead there, and they get third. 8-1 on the morning line, 6-1 come post time. So it's interesting. Olives Candy those 2 ended up almost right next to each other in terms of odds. Olives Candy was 8-5, Sparkling Silver 9-5 at the end. So those 2 ended up right there together. So the win bet on the 6 paid off, and then the 2 rather skinny exacta worked out all right as well. So that was good. Profitable. Exactly. So, turning some profits.
That's what we're trying to do. Exactly.
We're trying to make some money every day. And, we're moving on to the 7th race, which, we talked about from the beginning is just an absolute
unbelievable.
Yeah. It's just not an easy race to look at in terms of it's just a tough one to pick. It's a fun race to look at, actually, because there are so many potential contenders, but it's 5 furlong optional claimer, 10K. And, Keith, where were you on this one? I know you said you took a little bit of a shot in this race, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I did. So, I mean, I totally agree with you. I think, a 10-horse field and just, first start of the meet here for these horses. I mean, I was familiar with a few of these, runners, and I did lean towards the 7, actually, Margot's Girl. I just know this horse from Turf Paradise, and I just consistent type. I know it was claimed out of the last race, and I know form overall in the career. She is a 4-year-old now. I mean, not the greatest career numbers, but was the favorite last time. Finished second in a race that's claiming non-winners of 2 lifetimes. So that kind of matches up a little bit. I mean, this is a little bit of a tougher allowance optional claiming race, but. I just thought in a wide open race, let's be interesting to see how the betting board is in this race. It's going to be a great betting race. I mean, if you have an opinion here, I mean, you could just, and if you're right, you're going to get paid. I just, you get Jorge Carreno on board, top jockey. So that definitely, with these connections too. I mean, that was another thing I wrote in the notes. So I just took a shot there with the 7, and then I looked at the number 6, Blazing Sky, too, was my second pick here.
Oh, so okay. Yeah.
This horse was just on fire at Woodbine. And, that was a good question before in the chat. This horse is actually fits the profile of just being more of a Woodbine horse. But you get Whitehall, you get, Wendy Anderson's a good trainer. And, this was one that actually how the track is playing tonight could be a decent looking horse here because, Blazing Sky doesn't need the lead. It just sits, mid pack, and look at these running lines. I mean, broke 5th, broke 4th, and then just finishes 1, 1, 1. I mean, I know it's different track, but in synthetic, but interesting horse, I thought, Blazing Sky.
Yeah, absolutely. And gets if you go back and look at that Woodbine form, obviously got great jockeys as well. Got Kimura, who's, a jockey we've seen go out and win a grade 1 out of Santa Anita. And, was riding this horse here at Woodbine. So that's something you always want to take into consideration. That's something I look at sometimes is what jockeys get attracted to certain horses, and horses that tend to consistently attract good jockeys. I know there's always politics behind that. There's jockey agents, kind of making moves. And sometimes, a jockey will pick up a horse that may not be as great for a certain trainer to get another horse that's better for that trainer, that sort of thing. So there's always those sort of considerations. But I thought, seeing Kimura on the running lines there, I thought made a lot of sense. And
that's big,
this horse is on a roll. I mean, 3 in a row, has won 3 in a row. This goes back to the one argument that I made against the horse in the last race, which is the one effort on, or a couple of races ago, the one effort on dirt wasn't that great. That this horse was kind of all over on the synthetic. And the one time this horse shipped, it should be mentioned, that's the only time this horse shipped out of Woodbine, and the only time this horse ran on dirt. The horse recorded by far and away its worst speed figure and finished 6th by 13 lengths. So, that's something to keep in mind. Now, that was also coming off a layoff and going to a new track and new conditions and everything else. So you can maybe draw a line through it and excuse it, but it's just something I think to note there for that particular race. So, that was, but listen, this was one I kind of like, the 8, I think is a little bit interesting. Cyclone Sorority at 10-1. This was a horse I think I used in one of my stables. I thought this horse actually has turned in some really nice, relatively nice works over the last couple of months, and is in pretty good form. Has finished in the money the last 3 times out, and 2 of those were an allowance level company, and now is shipping up. So we'll obviously have to see how the form ships. Did a lot of Prairie Meadows, did some at Delta Downs, most recently at Foner, but is, like I said, stepping up here to Assiniboia, but 3 for 3 at the distance, and with a win. And, willing at 10-1, that's a horse that I was kind of willing to take a shot on a little bit.
No, definitely. I see it. I mean, just all these past lines. The only reason I looked at the 8 Cyclone Sorority, but I just didn't see a work at Assiniboia. I like to see sometimes, but I mean, you never know with these horses. I mean, sometimes maybe the trainer, 32% trainer. Do you see this? Wow. I mean, I don't know how many starts that's Steve Kaplan Jr. has, but this angle, I mean, you never know. I mean, that could be a good horse I know you used in Stableduel, so good luck.
Yeah. And then, I think you could, there's a lot of horses you can make a case for. Like, I think you could legitimately make the case for like the 3, wait a sec. I mean, there's some decent races back there at Turf Paradise that weren't half bad. And should be near the lead early. Marvin Buffalo, a trainer I always like up there at Assiniboia as well.
Not getting bet at all right now, which is kind of crazy. I looked at the 3.
Yeah, you're right. Float up to 13-1 now. I kind of like the 4, who's taking a little bit of money as well. Kim's Texas Bling at 12-1.
I know this horse.
Line.
Yep.
Yeah. This is a horse, a very memorable
Yeah,
name. And
from
this is one,
Texas. Yeah.
yeah, from Texas and Assiniboia last year as well. And this is the horse that I
yeah.
referenced earlier, ran against Mia Bear, who is just a
Wow.
monster up there at Assiniboia last year. And so running against that level of competition is always, I think, says something. This horse is 5 for 6 in the money at the distance, 4 for 6 out of Assiniboia in the money. So, was in the Manitoba Oaks and finished second that day.
That's right. I remember that race.
So yeah, to Burrow Down, it was a
9
really
to
nice
1
horse.
now. Look at this. I mean, yeah, definitely getting bet. I mean, taking some notice here too. So Texas Bling, the sire, is definitely produced winners at both tracks. I've noticed through the last couple of years.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so the other thing that's interesting is the current favorite in this race is the 10, Kate's Princess. And the reason I was a little hesitant to embrace Kate's Princess was I looked at what this horse did off the layoff the last 2 times. Now, one of those times was off almost a year layoff, but came in at a claiming 10, ran 5th by 6 lengths. Notice what happened immediately afterwards. Win, 3rd, 2nd. This horse went on a roll. Then comes back next year, off the bench first time, 4th place by 5 lengths, follows that up, win, 4th, 2nd. I just feel like this horse, based upon what I've seen with those running lines, the horse needs one off the bench, I think.
And then definitely add Kate's Princess to your stable for next time, though. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean,
second.
It's definitely a great angle, especially at this track. I think that once these horses kind of get into form a little bit, I think that's a great point. I mean, I think the 10's has a little bit of nice pace in the beginning, and I think that's why the public sees that. I just don't like the 10 post actually at all, too. That's another angle I didn't like at Assiniboia.
Well, that's a great point. And Sarah Elbadi, who was in the chat a little bit earlier, and last year when she was with Horse Racing Nation, and Ed DeRosa has these numbers now as well. But I mean, they really empirically showed those outside posts, even in sprints, were just.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I mean, just completely dead. And it really was you needed to be on the inside. You really needed to be on the inside 3-4 posts a lot of times to have any shot, especially routing, but even sprinting. And that was the kind of crazy part. So, it is, it's been crazy, but I want to catch up with the chat because, hey man, we gotta say we gotta say salute to Paul Nolan, who, my man, Paul, hopefully you don't have to wake up early tomorrow over in Ireland, because it is about 5 a.m. over there, and I appreciate you hanging out with us this whole time.
Time to get some breakfast.
That has been absolutely awesome. Yeah, time to get breakfast. Absolutely. Listen, let us know how you're doing in the chat. Love to hear what's people alive to. Colin, you're alive. I know in your double, because you hit the first leg of that double. Let's get this
Colin.
5 home for a $95 double. There you go.
Very cool.
Yeah, Dennis, absolutely happy to stay with you guys through the entire card.
Thank you.
Shout out Keith. Thank you so much for doing this with me. This has been so much fun, man. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. It's the best. I mean, opening night, I appreciate you having me and just interacting with everybody. It's I've made a lot of great connections the last year and a half on Twitter, and just everybody's so for the most part friendly. But I mean, I would just say it's great to just build friendships and talk horses. I mean, it's great. It's a great night.
Yeah, no, it is. And listen, hey man, really appreciate the feedback. We are enjoying covering ASD. Appreciate the comments on the show. The chat is always great. I got to give a shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome, because you go on social media, you go on the internet, people can be mean, they can be just stupid about things. They can be unnecessarily antagonistic towards people. They can be rude towards people. I got to say, the people in our chats, and this is true, even if you watch our videos and read the comments, even if people disagree, they're civil about it. It's like, Matthew, I don't think the horse you picked is very good, but this is why I don't think the horse you picked is very good. Right. And this is why I like this other horse. Hey, that's cool. That's fine. That's what, one of my buddy Len or Mark would probably say the same thing to me if we were talking. So this is always a lot of fun. Always appreciate it. And, big shout out. Like I said, thanks to everybody in the chat. We're sticking around though, so don't leave us. We're sticking around right up in there until past the last post at the 7th race. We're going to have this here. And Colin giving a shout out to the legend of the chat, Mr. Automatic, who came in during the Kentucky Derby.
Was. I saw that tweet.
Yeah. Mr. Automatic just came in during the Kentucky Derby live stream and just commented, "This sucks." And I was like, "My man, I don't know what to tell you." Yeah, I'm just like, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry you thought that, but no, this is a lot of fun. And listen, let us know, where are you guys betting in this last race? Because Keith and I are on a bunch of different horses that we talked about. So where are you guys betting in this last race? Who do you like to win? What's your ticket look like going into this last race? Because you're going to get some odds, I think. Because even Kate's Princess, the favorite, is at 5-2. We should mention Blazing Sky has actually overtaken that favoritism just now. And the number 6 horse is 8-5 on the morning line. So that 6 is taking a ton of money.
Price. I mean, I like the 6 a little bit, but yeah, that kind of price. It's funny because I know some of these other horses too, like Chicago River. I remember this horse from Tampa and Laurel. Yeah, this circuit in Laurel. Yeah, this horse is not getting played at all. So I mean, I've noticed actually in the past, I've noticed a lot of Tampa shippers tonight, which is kind of interesting. So
I have
definitely something to keep an angle on.
It is definitely something to keep an eye on. I don't remember this many Tampa shippers from last year either. So that's something to pay attention to. Another Tampa shipper obviously is the number 1 Charge It Jen, who was 4-1 on the morning line and is currently 7-1, if I'm not mistaken, or 9-1, I should say, currently on the board. And, honestly, that's another horse you can make an argument for. I mean, that horse has got some races to run back to. You go back to those races in late, in February and December at Tampa. I mean, they fit here, running a 51, 40, 54, 61, 53 speed figures. I mean, that probably gets the job done in this field. I mean, it definitely has some races to run back to on the dirt. Won a race 3 back at Tampa and a $5,000 maiden claimer or a $5,000 claimer. And should sit that very similar trip, gets kind of a mid-pack and go, and then gets Chow aboard as well, who's one of the top chalks. So there's something like
Brown,
there. Yeah. And, and to your point, the Chicago River makes some sense. I mean, this was one, I think when I marked this up on my DRF, I legitimately had 3. What did I have here? I had 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10. I mean, I was all over the place in this one.
I mean, if you were playing a horizontal, I mean, you would probably have to use half the field. I mean, unless you really had an opinion.
Absolutely. So,
they do. They offer it a super high 5. Imagine hitting this in this race. $1 minimum.
Yeah, wow. This is where you want to play the super high 5.
It's probably going to be a carryover. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got this too that you were talking about, who you remember from Laurel, the Chicago River horse, 10-1. I think that's a nice potential choice, 18-1, so a little dead on the board. But I think again, this horse has races to fit here. I mean, just actually won last time out, going 7 furlongs to Tampa. Yeah. I mean, it has a little versatility, but it's probably going to show speed. I think there's a lot.
Probably going to gun. I mean, the 10's probably going to try to gun for the lead, but the as we've seen tonight, I mean, the speed really hasn't. They've been gunning out the quarter horsing. I mean, this horse is going to quarter horse out, but I don't know if it's going to last or not at this point. We'll see.
Yeah. Bill, this was not officially sponsored by Stableduel. This is just something we wanted to do. Keith and I are avid Stableduel players. We play all the time. We have a great relationship with Bree, obviously. And it's honestly just something we love growing the game. And we love growing Stableduel. It's just more fun to get more people in it. And it is a lot like fantasy football. It is a lot like, this kind of DRF. And the way it turns profit is, the free rides don't turn a lot of profit, obviously, but the paid contests do. And so there's a minimum pot that Stableduel sets, and people pay into that pot. And when it gets over that pot, Stableduel will eventually start increasing the pot, but Stableduel takes a certain percentage of the takeout if it's over top of the pot figure, so it makes a little bit of money there. And then there's also some other business they have with the tracks, etc., some sponsorships.
Right.
So they're making money in a few different ways, as any company would. But it really is a very player friendly app. I mean, I say this sincerely, and I don't, because I know there's a lot of people who've made a lot more money than me, but I've legitimately made profited over the last calendar year probably $8,000 to $10,000 on Stableduel.
Wow,
In terms
that's
of
amazing.
In terms of profit
I didn't know it
winnings
was that high. Nice.
on there. So I mean, that's one of those where, you know, I'm playing every single day, granted, and I'm playing in big money contests and small money contests. So, you know, you hit a couple big money contests, you can win a lot of money really quick. But it is it's one of those games. I absolutely love it. So it's a lot of fun. Definitely,
Yeah, it's really
something
fun. I mean,
it just changed. It's good for horse racing. It's a different way to approach horse racing. I think it makes a lot of fun, and I agree, Bill. We've got to get more people in the game. So
yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I think it actually can definitely get more people in the game, and it's like you said, it's like a fantasy sports kind of strategy where you have to build a roster on a on a salary cap. And I just actually wanted to point out, I was looking at the leaderboard, and on the free ride, our one of our biggest fans on the Trusted Profits is Shoddy is sitting 5th place right now. So congrats, Shoddy, right there.
There we go, Shoddy sitting 5th, and Cool Airman, who I know is in the is in the chat as well.
He just gave you a follow. Yep.
I know Cool Airman, he's sitting 6th as well in that free ride. I'm sitting 145th. The hell with it.
Well,
now they haven't updated. They have not updated from the last race yet, so they've not updated. So that might change things in a little bit when they update race number 6. But and Bill, you're right. I mean, it's nice. You can play in Texas. There's no state restrictions. You can play contests wherever they have them, and that's something Stableduel's working with tracks all the time to increase the number of tracks that they have right now. Gulfstream, Keeneland, Santa Anita, Del Mar, obviously here at Assiniboia, Mahoning Valley Parks, Penn National, Delaware Park, Monmouth.
Amazing.
I mean, they got a lot. There's probably a little bit more, coming, as Bree kind of teased at. There's, I think, some more tracks that are going to be dropped this summer and fall. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But listen, we got 1 minute to post here in the last race.
Yeah.
And
let us know who you like.
Yeah, let us know who you like in this last one, because man, this is I feel like anybody's race. They are on the track there. And Kate's Princess, still your favorite at still your second choice, I should mention, at 5-2. The 6 is still your favorite in this race at 8-5.
Wow.
Blazing Sky
6-1 morning line too.
Yeah. So they're really
that's one job I was saying that I would never want to have, is making that morning line.
Oh my God.
I mean, I thought the person at the Preakness Day did a pretty good job overall, though. I mean, it's such a tough job. I mean, on big race days, you're always going to see somebody's critical or something, but I think for the most part, it's been very good. And then, obviously, the guy at Naira that is on Twitter.
David Aragona. Yeah,
he's one of the best.
Yeah, absolutely. So Frank really likes this one quite a bit, and he's going with the one in the last. And so Cindy is alive. She is alive to the 3, 4, 7. I'm sorry, the 3, 4, 5, 7, 10. So we got to root for those for Cindy. Get that one home. Nice way to end up your 41st opening day at Assiniboia Downs. Sean is going with a straight bet across the board on the 18-1 second.
Nice.
Number 2. Who we talked about, Chicago River, makes some sense there. It makes some sense. There's some nice dirt races to go back to in that horse's form, I should say. And so Bill, he's out of the contest. Hey, that's all right. Sometimes I get done early with the contest as well. I don't have anybody in the last, especially if I don't have a strong opinion. Why am I going to play it? So I don't blame you for that. We got Frank here alive to the 1, 3, 7, 8 in the pick 3. So that's certainly if that 7, 8 hits, that would be real nice for him.
Oh, you're looking good for 20 cents. Not bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Decent ball pace,
yeah. So the post is updated. Bill, take it easy, my man. Be good.
Appreciate it.
He's sitting at 4th right now. They updated the standings, so we're gonna have to take a look at these standings where we are.
Oh, okay.
And we are, yep. So I am 19th in the $25 game, and I am 106th in the free ride. That win in Olive's Candy did do pretty well there for me. I have the 8. I have the 8 in this last race in the free ride, and I have the. Let me see. What do I have in the $25 game? I have the 6. Oh, so I actually have the favorite Blazing Sky in the last year in the $25 game. So we will see how that all ends up playing out. But Greg, you like the 7, 8 in this one, and I don't know if we've talked much about the 7 yet.
It's actually.
That was one you liked a little bit.
Yeah, so I put a couple bucks across the board on the 7. Just just do this horse. I was talking about the connections. I just thought it was interesting and not really getting played Margot's Girl at all on the board. But I just thought, just coming back to those races, 15-1 in this kind of field. And then actually, if you look at these Will Pays, the pick 3, the 7 actually got played a little bit. So that's a sign like Sarah was saying before. So
yep, absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. No, so they're getting ready there for the.
Oh, see, they're doing the high 5 tickets. Oh,
yeah, they're doing the high 5 tickets as well. And just to speak to how open this is, take a look at Kurt's choices are 3, 1, 2. Stretch has 3 completely different horses, 10, 4, 7. So that should tell you everything you need to know about how wide open this last race is when the 2 track experts have 6 completely different horses to finish up the trifecta in the last race. So, this was
interesting. They don't have the 6 at all on their top 3 picks, which is interesting.
Greg asked an interesting question about that 6 in terms of Sky Mesa being the sire up top for Blazing Sky. And one of the things, and they don't pay me to say this. I like using DRF Formulator because I like to be able to dive into pedigree analysis on these horses a lot. But in terms of dirt sprints, actually not that bad. If you look, Sky Mesa, 16% dirt sprint winners in terms of the offspring, 13% dirt route winners on the offspring. Actually slightly better numbers than the turf. So Sky Mesa, perfectly fine. I think, nothing outstanding, but perfectly fine pedigree up top for the number 6 there. So that's one to obviously keep an eye on as the favorite there as they start getting them loaded in. And I'll turn things over to Kurt and get the volume turned up here as they load them in.
Great.
Oh, here's the.
There you go.
Yeah, there's that banger soundtrack.
Oh yeah, that's a hamster dance song. That's it. Love that song.
Next up, wait a sec.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. This is unbelievable. Like you said in the beginning of the stream, I'm really interested to see how some of these horses are going to run.
Yeah. No, this one, it felt wide open. This was by far and away, I thought, the most wide open race.
At the Lyric, ready to
10's
move up
with
and
a full
in.
send.
Yeah, you figure from that outside post, he wants to cross and clear the field. Because as Cindy pointed out, the inside is where you want to be. Just nobody can handle the turn, apparently, which we should also say these horses haven't run a race in like 7 months in some instances. So they might be a little rusty going around the turn. And there might be some excuses there, but getting them loaded in.
Sky steps right up and in.
No, now you're seeing the odds change. So Kate's Princess has taken over as the favorite at 2-1. Blazing Sky at 5-2 now.
Cyclone Sorority.
All right, this is it. Wow, this is a nice betting board, though.
Yeah, very nice.
Barefoot Dancer.
All right, well, good luck, everybody. Hope you hit the get out race, they say.
As bailout time, baby. Let's go get it. Good luck to everyone.
We're all set.
Let's do it.
They're at the post. And they're off.
Pretty clean start.
Yeah.
From the inside, wait a sec. Blazes out to the early lead. Chicago River. Putting on some pressure from the inside, 3 wide. Kate's Princess goes to corral.
Surprised that Ted did not get the clear lead.
The track,
yeah.
A gap of 5 lengths back. That's going to be Cyclone Sorority. That's sitting back there trying to get into him with Margot's Girl, Blazing Sky. The opening quarter, a sizzler. 22-1, and it's Kate's Princess on the outside. Wait a sec on the inside. These two at the head of the lane. Kate's Princess.
Let's get this 7 up.
By a length and a half. Not giving up. Wait a sec.
Is this the 7?
Back. These two
That's
coming
a 3.
to the 16th pole. And it's wait a sec. Now taking over the lead. Kate's Princess back to second. Third's going to go to Chicago River.
There you go.
A lot of speed in that race. Yeah. Nobody really came off the pace there.
Sky.
Yeah. No, that was something else for the final race there on the card. That was a little bit different.
That was the horse that you mentioned. Yeah.
The 3. Yeah. Wait a sec. Yeah. So I just wish I would listen to my own advice. And I actually played that horse. But yeah, that's the horse for Marvin Buffalo. Always loved Marvin Buffalo. So that's why I was happy to see that. But yeah, there were some nice efforts there. I thought that made sense for that horse going back. And, that was interesting because you're right. The 10 did not get the lead.
That was pretty big. I mean, yeah, I think 10 still ran really well. But that was just nobody really else was coming. I mean, I thought my 7 was Margot's Girl, I think finished 4th, but that was kind of a race where I would say everybody's just maybe a lot of horses kind of needed one there. I would say first start in a while, but some good efforts there. The 2 showed speed. So
yeah, absolutely. No, and the fact that the 2 that was interesting. The 2 tried to press from the inside on the 3. Then took back and managed to still hang on for 3rd. I mean, that kind of speaks to A, maybe a little bit of that inside bias, and B, a little bit of maybe the track is playing, who knows, maybe more favorable to front end speed. But I thought overall, it was a fun first opening night. This was a lot of fun. We hope to be back with you guys on a weekly basis. We got to talk to Assiniboia a little bit more, but hope to be coming back on a weekly basis with you all and doing this every single week. Colin, doubling down, cashed. Well done, my friend.
Nice.
And so great job by Colin there, giving out a winning ticket on the Daily Double. So love to see that. That's awesome. And just a big shout out to all of you listening out there in the chat and hanging out with us for the better part of almost 4 hours tonight. This was so much fun. Keith, my friend, thank you so much for doing this with me. I cannot thank you enough. Really appreciate your time and insight. This was a lot of fun.
Very cool.
Listen, everybody out there, make sure to press that like button. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to follow Keith on Twitter each and every stride. Make sure to follow him on Stableduel as well. You can find me on Twitter at the handle @FailedToMenace.
I just want to say shout out to you, Matthew, for being the heavy lifter of Trust the Profits. I mean, you putting out all the great content and great job hosting and this is going to be a regular weekly thing. So thank you everybody for interacting.
So.
And thank you.
Absolutely. No, this has been a blast, man. This has been so much fun. If I could do 9 hours on Kentucky Derby Day, doing this is no problem at all. So listen, this has been a lot of fun. Until next time, friends, that's Keith. My name is Matthew. Wishing you all the best and reminding you it is now post time.